Welcome back to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and we are streaming live to millions worldwide on YouTube, plus our freedom fighters on Rumble, Facebook, Instagram, and X. And as you're watching right now on X or Facebook, hit that repost button and spread this show to your friends and followers. Let's bypass big tech's algorithm together. Text the stream to your friends and family. We need every patriot tuned in for what is about to be revealed today. Now, what sets us apart from the corporate media machine? Well, we don't just report the news. We interact with you, our viewers, getting your real-time reactions to the stories that matter, because your voice matters here. So fire up those keyboards and let us know what you think as we expose the truth they don't want you to see. Now, before we dive into today's explosive lineup, remember, if you want to support independent journalism that actually fights for America, hit those donation links in the description below. We are 100% viewer funded, which means we answer to you, not corporate overlords. And if you want to show the world where you get your real news, check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We've got Alligator Alcatraz. Yes, it's not going away. We've also got President Otto Pen Designs and our American Badass collection lets everyone know you're not buying the mainstream media lies. And speaking of support, we will be reading your super chats and Rumble rants between segments today, featuring them on screen for the world to see. So send them in right now, even before we begin, because your message could be front and center in minutes. And for those who want exclusive access, join our YouTube channel memberships. Each level unlocks special perks. You'll get acknowledged in the chat, behind-the-scenes content, and access to our members-only 24/7 Discord, where the conversation never stops. Now, September 4th has always been a day when power collides with truth. On this day in 1957, Arkansas Governor Orville Faubus deployed the National Guard to block 9 black students from entering Little Rock Central High School, defying federal integration orders. The establishment used military force to enforce their will on American citizens. Sound familiar? Well, today we're watching history rhyme as troops deploy across America once again, but this time the battle lines are drawn differently. And speaking of freedom, Florida just shattered 70 years of force compliance. Governor DeSantis and Surgeon General Ladapo making history, ending all childhood vaccine mandates, not just COVID, everything. The first state to declare parents, not politicians, make medical decisions for their kids. Yes, that is cause for celebration. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., RFK Jr. is torching the swamp. Big Pharma's bought senators, tried to use their usual smear campaign tactics, but Kennedy came with the receipts. He exposed their dirty money, their lies, and their fear tactics. When they accused him of backroom deals, he laughed in their faces. The CDC's own employees are circulating sabotage manuals to undermine him because they know their corrupt empire is crumbling. But Trump, though, he's not just draining the healthcare swamp, he's actually cleaning up our streets. Federal forces have made 1,800 arrests in D.C., including corrupt FBI agents. ICE is surging into Chicago with National Guard backup. The criminals are running scared while law-abiding Americans cheer. And the darkest secrets, they are spilling out. That missing minute from Epstein's cell, well, guess what? It has been found. The footage they said didn't exist, well, it does. Guards approaching his cell at the exact moment he supposedly did something to himself. The DOJ insider now admits that they're protecting Democrats on the client list while targeting Republicans. The cover-up is collapsing. We've also got a Federal Reserve governor now facing 30 years for mortgage fraud. We've got John Bolton's home raided by the FBI, and we're finding out more about that raid. Classified Trump files seized, and espionage charges are looming. The same people who weaponize our government against patriots are now feeling the heat themselves. This is your Raw Feed for September 4th, 2025. And the revolution isn't coming, it's here. So let's get into it and welcome you to the show. Who's here? We got Karen and Potted Kenny, and Kim Wiig is in the house. We got Karen Myron in the house. We got Maine Arbor here as well. We got Cody. What's up? Good to see you here. Who else is in the house? We got Cindy and Karen Moriarty. Digital Revolution in the house. Das Snuff is here. We got Gemma Barker, Robert Lockhart, John Gardner, T. Sullivan. Who else? Ophicus 111, Michael Fouts in the house. Skivvies is here. John Gardner, Robert Lockhart. Ken is here. We got Finn Loam, in the house as well. Digital Revolution, Melissa, Sweet Jenna Rainbows. I love saying that. Sweet Jenna Rainbows. We got Vampire Spawn. Nice. Who else is in the house? We got Kathy Dunn, Scott Edwards, Lynn. Who else is here? We got Nunu and Slicknard, Jacqueline Firestone in the house. The gang is all here. Bobby Riesling is here as well. So welcome to the show, folks. Let's get into the news because that's why you're here, and that's why I'm here. Because, man, as soon as I opened up my feeds this morning, I was like jumping out of my seat. I was texting Angie. I'm like, Angie, you need to see what RFK is doing right now on Capitol Hill. And I'm about to show you. They thought they had him cornered. Democrat senators lined up their attack, ready to smear Trump's HHS secretary with their usual playbook. But what happened next on Capitol Hill left the swamp creatures speechless. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. didn't just defend himself, he went nuclear. One by one, he exposed their big pharma paychecks, their lies, and their manufactured outrage. The room fell silent as sacred cows got slaughtered. Meanwhile, down in Florida, the first domino just fell. In America's medical freedom revolution, every single childhood vaccine mandate gone. The establishment is in full panic mode, and they should be. So keep on watching. Wait till you find out what we've got for you. Now, let me ask you something. If you built up $100,000 or more in investments, do you really want all of it riding on the stock market? Think about it. Banks, billionaires, even entire countries loading up on physical gold and silver. Why? Because when markets swing, real assets hold their value. That's why I want to tell you about Noble Gold Investments. They make it simple to own investment-grade gold and silver, the same kind that the big players are buying, and you can actually hold it in your hand or put it safely in your retirement account. Visit nextnewsgold.com today or call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Operators are standing by. Just let them know that Gary Franchi and the Next News Network sent you. So before we get into the whole RFK thing, this is kind of a side note. This clip of Senator Tim Kaine during a confirmation hearing is absolutely astounding. Now, what he was doing there, this is during the confirmation hearing for Riley M. Barnes, the nominee to be the Assistant Secretary of State for Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor. He was nominated by President Trump. And during his opening remarks, he was talking about where our rights come from. Our rights come from God. Well, Senator Tim Kaine had another theory, and it'll absolutely blow your mind. Listen to this.
Laws, or the notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. It's a theocratic regime that bases its rule on Shia law and targets Sunnis, Baha'is, Jews, Christians, and other religious minorities. And they do it because they believe that they understand what natural rights are from their creator. So the statement that our rights do not come from our laws or our governments is extremely troubling. The notion
Yeah. You know what's extremely troubling? That this guy probably hasn't read the Declaration of Independence, where it says all men are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. If America's founding creed is troubling to Tim Kaine, then he is troubling to America. He should resign in shame because he's disgraced his oath and the office that he holds. But one man who is not disgracing any office is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The bombshells were dropping today. Holy cow. Now, we're going to get to what happened in Florida. I don't even know where to begin, but the fireworks were everywhere. Okay, I guess we can start with here. I mean, where do we even begin? The clips are so amazing. Maybe we should just go to his opening remarks. Do we go to Bernie Sanders? I don't know. Okay, Senator Kennedy destroying Big Pharma shill Senator Hassan in the Senate hearing. Gabrielle DeMarco writes, he destroys Senator Hassan, a Big Pharma financier, during the Senate hearing. While he lied about closed doors and sowed panic among his corporate donors, Kennedy stood firm on the truth. The data did not support for XYZ.
that we're seeing. And good morning, Secretary Kennedy. Just before I ask a question, I did want to note in response to the Secretary's statement that the Trump administration wants to lower the cost of health insurance, that across the country right now, the median increase for commercial insurers that we're seeing this fall is 18%, just as families are struggling to make ends meet. Now, I want to follow up on a line of questioning that Senator Cassidy began. Mr. Secretary, President Trump said that the COVID-19 vaccine produced by Operation Warp Speed was, and these are the president's words, a monumental national achievement. Although I have strongly opposed many of President Trump's actions, I agree with him that Operation Warp Speed in 2020 was a monumental achievement. Unfortunately, you are undermining one of the president's biggest achievements, which, as the president said, saved millions of American lives. You even went as far as to call President Trump weak for this life-saving accomplishment. Last year, you tweeted that President Trump has a weakness for swamp creatures and that Operation Warp Speed was among, here's your quote again, the most devastating impact of President Trump's weakness. So, Mr. Secretary, was Operation Warp Speed a monumental national achievement, as President Trump said?
For the reason that I already said, and I assume you won't let me repeat, but I'm happy to if you want, yes, it was.
Good. Assuming it is a monumental achievement, you've said it was, is it true that, as President Trump has said, he saved millions of American lives with the COVID-19 vaccine? Because you've just expressed great confusion about that to Senator Warner.
The only confusion I express is exactly how many lives were saved. I don't think anybody knows that because of the data chaos.
So multiple studies have shown that the vaccine...
Because the data chaos. Well, what kind of chaos also unfolded inside that Senate hearing? Here is RFK Jr., the perfect answer to Bernie Sanders going on an unhinged rant.
Okay, you were already president, you got a billionaire behind it. You received $300,000 from people, not from the industry, people in it, as I did, from individuals. You corrupt. President Trump got $3 million. Every Republican got corporate PAC money for the pharmaceutical industry. Democrats as well. Everybody is corrupt, but you? Is that what we're looking at? I don't think so. And I think the issue now...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, I think you do know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The issue is every time anyone disagrees with you...
Are you saying the pharmaceutical industry was supporting my presidential campaign?
I'm saying,
I don't think so.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the pharmaceutical industry is a greedy institution which is charging us the highest prices in the world. They are pervasive. But to suggest that every institution, the AMA, the pediatrics people, is corrupt because they disagree with you is an insult to the American people.
Listen, people disagree with me all the time. I have arguments in my agency, heated arguments every day with Jay Bhattacharya, with Marty McCary, with Dr. Oz.
You have given the names of a few... Okay, you were already president.
What is Bernie Sanders even talking about? Oh, it was beautiful. Here is Senator Kennedy putting Elizabeth Warren's Big Pharma bucks on full public display. Let's go, baby.
What you are effectively denying people vaccines.
We're not going to recommend a product for which there's no clinical data for that indication. Is that what I should be doing?
What you should be doing is honoring your promise that you made when you were looking to get confirmed in this job.
You're going like this.
And that is, you promised that you would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
The question is everyone who wants it. That was your promise.
No, I didn't. I never promised that I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
When you said...
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator Kennedy,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary,
You want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
Is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not
So
taking them away.
obviously-
Everybody can get access to them.
No, they can't walk into a pharmacy the way they could last month and get access.
It
to a
depends on the
vaccine.
it depends on the
It
states.
depends. A year ago,
But they can
it did
still
not
get it.
depend.
Everybody can get
A
it.
month ago, it did not
Everybody can
depend.
get it, Senator.
So look, let's move on. You clearly are taking away vaccines. I've seen the list for what's coming up next. And
Let's move on, she says. But he's like, I'm not going to recommend something where the data doesn't support it. You want me to do that? You've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Here is his remarks to the Senate Finance Committee. This is a once-in-a-generation shift that's happening right now. Once in a generation, folks. Yes, today was a moment to celebrate.
Hey, thank you, Chairman Crapo, and thank you, Ranking Member Wyden, for the invitation to appear before the committee today. Before I summarize what we've accomplished this year at HHS, I want to express my deepest condolence to the family of DeKalb County Police Officer David Rose, who gave his life to stop the gunfire attack on the CDC on August 8th. Officer Rose was a veteran. He was a husband and the father of 2 children. Officer Rose's widow, whom I visited, is expecting their 3rd child. I'd like Officer Rose's family to know that he remains in our prayers and that he will continue to be in our thoughts. Let me start with the big picture. Under President Trump's leadership, we at HHS are enacting a once-in-a-generation shift from a sick care system to a true healthcare system that tackles the root causes of chronic disease. Chronic disease has reached crisis proportions in our country. And finally, we have an administration that is taking action. The Maha Report assessment, which the White House released in May, was the first government analysis of the key drivers of childhood chronic disease. Ultra-processed foods, chemical exposures, physical inactivity, and over-medicalization. This month, we will follow with the Maha Report strategy, the Trump administration's solution for addressing each cause. At HHS, we haven't just been writing reports. We have been the busiest, most proactive administration in HHS history. In just half a year, we've taken on food dyes, baby formula contamination, the grass loophole, fluoride in our drinking water, gas station heroin, electronic cigarettes, drug prices, prior authorization. Thank you, Chairman Crapo, and thank you.
He is going after all of it. Oh, and here's more. Senator Kennedy scorching Ron Wyden. This was probably one of my favorite moments. This was the clip I woke up to this morning.
And you said, "No, Senator, you've sat in that chair."
Look at his face. Look at it. Look at his face. Dude, what? I mean, he doesn't even know he's there. Ron Wyden.
Senator, you've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years, we've learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not because I came in here. It's because of what happened during the Biden administration that we're going to end. Senator, you've sat in that chair.
Wow. That was the fire this morning. RFK Jr. dropping a truth bomb on Democrat Senator Warnock. Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Clearly, you have an agenda. It is a threat to the public health of the American people. It's clear that you are carrying out your extremist beliefs, which is why you attempted to fire Dr.
Senator, we're the sickest people in the world.
I'm
we're the sickest people on earth.
I'm speaking.
How am I a threat?
Secretary Kennedy, clearly you have an agenda.
How am I a threat? How am I a threat? We're the sickest people on earth. Warnock saying that he has an agenda. Yeah, an agenda to make us healthy again. Here he is talking about, RFK talking about ending gain of function and so much more.
Cell phone use. We are ending gain-of-function research, child mutilation, and reducing animal testing. We are addressing cell phone use in schools, excessive screen time for youth, the lack of nutrition education in our medical schools, sickle cell anemia, hepatitis C, the East Palestine chemical spill, and many, many others. At FDA, we are now on track to approve more drugs this year than at any time in history. I'm also proud to say that HHS under President Trump is doing more with less. We have taken measures to fight waste, fraud, and abuse. Just by eliminating duplicative enrollments in CMS, we are saving taxpayers $14 billion a year. Meanwhile, we are expanding access for people who need it. We are ending racist diversity, equity, and inclusion practices and instead focusing on aiding low-income and vulnerable families, regardless of their race, which was the original intent of Title X. We're also pouring $1 billion into Head Start and the Administration for Children and Families. Compassion need not be the casualty of efficiency. I'd like to highlight some issues that have not gotten media attention. First, we are doing our part to fulfill the President's commitment to stop human trafficking, especially of children. We inherited a terrible humanitarian crisis from the previous administration with its open border policies, which allowed the appalling loss of 476,000 unaccompanied children. We have implemented policies now to ensure that that appalling tragedy can never happen again. We have knocked on 82,000 doors and located 22,000 of those children. I promise you that we will do more in the next 3 years. We are also addressing the disastrous health conditions in tribal communities on Native American reservations. I've met face-to-face with tribal leaders in dozens of communities and tribes in Alaska, Arizona, Idaho, New Mexico, and elsewhere. And I look forward to making HHS resources more available to those communities. One of the most significant initiatives under President Trump is the Rural Health Transformation Fund, part of the President's Big Beautiful Bill, which will provide the greatest investment of federal money into rural health care in history. We are ending gain-of-function research.
What a lovely list. RFK Jr., questioned by Senator Bernie Sanders, it took a wild turn. Sanders was pressed about taking money from Big Pharma, and he exposed the truth. Everybody in this room took money from Big Pharma. Here is Secretary Kennedy says the Trump administration's HHS answers to the American people.
Or 6 weeks. I think it's critical for you to share the evidence that this panel will rely on. Will you give the American people 6 months or 6 weeks in advance the record that they're going to rely on to make these decisions? Will you make it transparent for the American people?
All the evidence is transparent.
Will you make it in advance transparent for the American people so they can comment on it?
All the evidence is transparent for the first time in history, and you were never there complaining when the pharmaceutical companies were picking those people and then running their products through with no safety testing.
You can characterize it any way you want. I quoted them today. What I said was accurate. What you said were lies. You described people moving the Titanic.
Senator, are you saying that the mRNA vaccine has never been associated with myocarditis or pericarditis in teenagers?
I am simply.
Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I am simply trying to say that the people that you have put on that panel, after firing the entire.
You're evading the question.
No, I'm asking the questions here,
You're
Mr.
evading
Kennedy.
that question.
I'm asking the questions,
I
Mr.
asked
Kennedy.
you a question.
I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy on behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your.
Oh, yeah, shut up. You're asking questions on behalf of the brainwashed and deceived masses. Let's make it very clear.
Leadership. That's what this conversation is about, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, they deserve the truth, and that's what we're going to give them for the first time in the history of that agency.
I think it's critical.
Baby. Oh, the fire. The fire. Oh, I love it. RFK going off for 2 minutes, tearing into the politicization of COVID, and the entire room goes silent. We all know. We all remember what they did.
You know, we were told.
Do you believe COVID-19 was politicized?
Yeah, the whole process was politicized. Senator, I mean, we were lied to about everything. We were lied to about natural immunity. We were lied to about, you know, we were told again and again the vaccines would prevent transmission, they prevent infection. It wasn't true. They knew it from the start it wasn't true because that's what the animal studies and the clinical trials showed. We were told that there was science behind cloth masks. The CDC allowed the teachers union to write the order closing our schools, which hurt working people all over the country, and then pretend it was science-based. All of these issues, and then I can show you, like, for example, Chairman Wyden was talking about me politicizing ACIP. During COVID, probably the most famous scientist on ACIP was Martin Kulldorff from Harvard, the great, world-renowned epidemiologist and vaccinologist. And he criticized the COVID booster mandates. They ejected him from COVID because he wasn't in the orthodoxy. The two biggest health officials at FDA during COVID, Dr. Gruber and Dr. Krause, criticized the Biden mandates, vaccine mandate. You know, President Biden said in August, I would never take that vaccine, the Trump vaccine. And he came in, he mandated it, and then he fired the two top health officials at FDA who said, hey, this thing has not been properly tested. So the whole process was politicized, and even today.
So let me, I'm 15.
The entire process politicized. Here's more. This is more on that topic.
You're saying the Biden administration politicized all the data? Go back to what Senator Cantwell just said.
Fired Dr. Krause
from Surgeon General.
They fired Dr. Krause. They fired all the people who questioned the orthodoxy. They fired Dr. Gruber, Dr. Krause.
So, Mr. Chairman, the Secretary of Health, you're saying the Biden administration...
Oh, yes, of course they did. Oh, here's another one. Senator caught in a blatant lie.
Who works for you, Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah.
Do you know that Mr. Geyer is listed as a HHS on the employee directory as a senior data analyst, not a contractor?
He's a contractor. He's not an SGE.
So is your website wrong?
He's not an SGE. I don't know what.
I'm going to pull up the website for you.
He's a contractor.
If the website says he is a senior data analyst, will you at least admit to the committee?
Well, I don't know if
wrong?
a contractor can be classified as a senior data analyst or not.
Is Mr. Geyer a doctor?
No.
Did you know he never went to medical school?
He's not practicing medicine.
Did you know that he got caught in Maryland and was charged for practicing medicine without a medical license?
He was charged by a medical board. He sued the medical board, and the medical board was found to have acted in actual malice and was fined $2.6 million by a judge in Maryland for doing that.
See, so you choose to know a lot when you want to know a lot. It's incredible, Mr. Kennedy.
Senator, you're ridiculous.
So here's the question I have. You brought him in to do this study. I think there's no question about it.
I told you he's not doing a study.
Is he participating in the study?
No.
Is he doing any analysis in regards to this study?
No. What he's doing is getting access to the Vaccine Safety Data Link, which is the biggest repository for vaccine information that your friend would not give us for 7 months. For
Mr.
7 months.
Secretary, let me ask you this question, just because you know the answer. What is Mr. Geyer doing?
He is the only one, because Congress ordered CDC to open up the VSD to him in 2002. He's the only outsider who's ever seen it. So because CDC will not give us, they have
Mr. Secretary, is he participating in this then?
No, he is.
But you just said he's the only dude that knows what's going on here.
Do you want me to explain it to you, Senator, or do you just want to showboat?
I'll submit.
You just want to showboat for your ads, or do you want to hear a real answer to your question?
Mr. Secretary, you choose to know answers to questions with some colleagues. And
I'm willing to give you the answer. I'm willing to give you the answer.
Mr. Secretary, someone should have asked you, maybe President Trump should have asked you, are you a trustworthy person? And we should have waited for an answer then. Let's move on.
I don't even know what you're talking about. You're talking gibberish.
Mr. Secretary, let me speak slowly and clearly so that you can understand me through my New Mexico accent.
And then give me a chance to answer.
Does this help? Can you understand me?
Yes.
Appreciate that. Mr. Secretary, yes or no, did you hire Mr. Geyer to do this study?
No.
Mr. Chairman, well, let me ask, maybe we'll just get a good answer here. Mr. Secretary, will you commit to sharing the protocols used for the autism study with Congress and to the public?
They're public.
Will you commit to giving it to this committee by the end of the week?
No, not because that's not the way it works.
Will you
don't even know what you're talking about.
Mr. Secretary, will you commit to sharing the protocols for the study by the end of the month?
We already have.
You just said it's public.
We put out the notice of funding opportunities, and then the scientists from all over the world.
You're not understanding me.
No, you're not understanding how the world works.
Do you understand what the protocols are? Do you understand what they are?
The scientists who are doing the studies submit the protocol.
Okay, so you know
that's
what
not
they
coming
are.
from us.
So will you commit to sharing those protocols with this committee?
Well, anybody can get a hold of the protocol. It's published with the study.
Mr. Chairman, what I'd like to ask is for your commitment here. I'll send a letter to the Secretary. I'll ask for support from the leadership of this committee to ask for those protocols. Good. If those protocols are not given to this committee...
Anybody can get the protocols.
Mr. Secretary, I'm not talking to you. Mr. Chairman,
if the protocols are public, we can work with you.
What I'm asking, Mr. Chairman, is that if those protocols are not given to this committee, I'm asking for your agreement that we follow through with the subpoena to get them.
No, I will not agree to subpoena anything. Let's see what happens.
Mr. Chairman, you'll help me get them if they're available publicly?
Yes.
I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Kennedy, with all the questions here today, people just want to know the truth.
I don't think so.
Mr. Secretary, you don't think so. Thank you.
I don't think so.
I hope everyone recording that got that, because there explains the Secretary's tenure here. Look, 2 young ladies in Las Cruces, New Mexico at a town hall recently gave me this starfish pin. I was going to give it to you today, but after your questioning today, I don't think you deserve it, because what this represents is to remember that every one of us can make a difference, sir, to something as small as a starfish on a beach that maybe got washed up, you throw it back in the ocean. You might not save them all, but you can save one. I'm sorry that you're not worthy of this nice little pin, sir, as a nice reminder. I'm going to pray for you, Secretary Kennedy. I hope we do better. I want you to do better.
Wow.
But today was a failure for you, man. I yield back.
Wow. Holy cow. All right. Okay. I think we have, man, there's just like so much here. Here's another one. RFK Jr. unloading on the bureaucrats at the CDC.
0.4%. Yes, Senator, this morning I got the latest numbers from CDC that 76.4% of Americans now have a chronic disease. This is stunning. When my uncle was president, it was 11%. 1950, it was 3%. Today, it's 76.4%. 8 out of 10 of our kids cannot qualify for military service. This is a national security issue. When my uncle was president, we spent 0 on chronic disease. Today, we spend $1.3 trillion. It's the biggest cause. It's increasing. And all of the arguments that Republicans and Democrats have about single-payer, Obamacare, or with the various ways of allocate the health dollars, they're all like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. If we don't end this chronic disease, we are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC. They did not do their job. This was their job to keep us healthy.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
I need to fire some of those people to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Mr.
baby. Fire them all. Fire them all. Okay, where do we go from here? It's been exposed that CDC employees are distributing a manual titled Simple Sabotage to try to oust RFK Jr. from his position, according to Benny Johnson, causing endless chaos. Do everything possible to delay the delivery of orders, adopt non-cooperative attitude, and induce others to follow suit. Snarl up administration in every possible way. Try to commit acts for which large numbers of people could be responsible. That's what the documents are showing. Here is one of the pages. Insist on perfect work in relatively unimportant products. Send back for refinishing those which have the least flaws. Approve other defective parts whose flaws are not visible to the naked eye. Snarl up the administration in every possible way. Fill out forms illegibly so they will have to be done over. Make mistakes or omit requested information in forms. If possible, join or help organize a group for presenting employee problems to the management. See that procedures adopted are as inconvenient as possible for the management, involving the presence of a large number of employees at each presentation, entailing more than one meeting for each grievance, bringing up problems which are largely imaginary, and so on. Some of the documents that are now circulating. Dr. RFK Jr. laughing in the face of Democrat Senator Cortez Masto.
Points that they're. Why have you done that?
For the COVID vaccine, I was removed by FDA because they were the industry.
No, it was behind closed doors.
No, it's not.
And scientists who said they wanted to brief you on the science, scientists who wanted to understand why the FDA, why you unilaterally changed the parameters for giving vaccines, making it possible now, to Senator Cassidy's colleagues' points, that they're going to have to go off-label.
This is crazy talk. You're just making stuff up.
To prescribe a vaccine for children. I'm not making things up. Do you know how the FDA approval process works and what happens?
Yeah, I know exactly.
Do you know what an off-label prescription is?
I know exactly how it works. I know exactly how it works.
So why behind closed doors?
It's not behind closed doors. The industry makes the studies, and they could not provide a study that said that it is effective for healthy kids.
So when have you...
Wow, laughing in their faces. Oh, wow. Oh, I mean, there's just so much here. The thank you, Kennedy. Okay, where do we even go? Senator caught lying during a Senate hearing. Perfect answer to Bernie Sanders. Here's the moment when RFK arrived on Capitol Hill.
Hey guys, on the wall.
Mr. Secretary, what do you say to the Americans concerned about your vaccine policies?
Mr. Secretary, what do you say
to the Americans concerned about their children's health, Mr. Secretary?
Will you resign, sir? We love you, Bobby!
We love you, Bobby. Moving down to Florida. Wow, we've been at this for like 30 minutes already. Yeah, that hearing went on for quite some time. Let's pivot to Florida now. 24 hours ago, Ron DeSantis posting, Florida has become the national model for medical freedom. Today, we established the Florida Make America Healthy Again Commission to recommend state-level integrations of MAHA principles and expanded protections for parental choice regarding childhood vaccines. Chaired by First Lady Casey DeSantis, Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins of Florida, the MAHA Commission also includes Florida Surgeon General, state agency heads in health and human services, and experts in the field of nutrition, vaccine safety, and family practice. We've worked to empower Floridians to make the best decision for the family's health, and the Florida MAHA Commission will continue advancing this mission. This is the moment the Surgeon General announcing all vaccine mandates in Florida will be ended, and the room just erupted in celebration.
But what I'm most excited about is an announcement that we're making now, which is that the Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them. Every last one of them. Yeah. Every last one of them. All of them. Every last one of them. Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery. Okay? Who am I as a government or anyone else, or who am I as a man standing here now to tell you what you should put in your body? Who am I to tell you what your child should put in your body? I don't have that right. Your body is a gift from God. What you put into your body, is because of your relationship with your body and your God. I don't have that right. Government does not have that right. They want you to believe they have that right. And unfortunately, they've been successful. They've been successful. But
I mean, how many times, I have 3 boys, and I remember when we were going to doctors, trying to find a doctor who would, allow us to have freedom of choice. And we had to go doctor shopping. And I remember going into doctor's office after doctor's office after doctor's office, asking them what their policy was on those mandates for children. And I would just get scowled at and scolded. I was shamed. It was unreal. But now that is ending in Florida. No more shaming of parents who want to make the choices for their own families. Florida plans to become the first state. Let's listen to Ron DeSantis.
Principles are as Oh, good morning. What a crowd. Thanks so much. And, I think about something like, a newborn baby. Do they need that hepatitis shot? It's like, what's the rationale for it? I mean, we know how you can get that. Okay, so a baby needs that, and then if they do it, are there drawbacks for it? And usually they just tell you there's never a drawback for anything. Let me tell you, anything you take could have a potential drawback. I mean, that's just the reality. But today I'm pleased to announce the establishment of the Florida MAHA Commission as a working group which will recommend state-level integration of these Make America Healthy principles. And those principles are, as I mentioned, individual medical freedom, informed consent, parent rights, and also market innovation.
The Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them. All of them.
Music to my ears. This just in. They're all taking kickbacks from the medical murderous liars and the cartels. This is why they despise HHS and RFK Jr. This is how much each of them are making from the pharma cartels, how much money they've taken in. It's disgusting. Keeping in this thread, let's check in Dr. Oz making the rounds on the news. Dr. Oz, Trump's director of Medicare and Medicaid Services, approves of Florida's plan.
Childhood. I want to ask you about this because there's a lot of discussion about the childhood vaccine schedule. And today there was an announcement in Florida that they will move to end all childhood vaccine mandates in the state. That came from Governor DeSantis this afternoon, and it's in conjunction with the state Surgeon General, Joseph Ladapo. What is your reaction to that? And do you agree with that? Would you recommend the same thing to your patients?
I would definitely not have mandates for vaccinations. This is a decision that a physician and a patient should be making together. The parents love their kids more than anybody else. I could love that kid, so why not let the parents play an active role in this? There are some states now where you're seeing an increase in homeschooling because parents are running from the healthcare system. They can't get healthcare because doctors are unwilling to take the risk of taking care of children who don't want vaccinations because it might impact the way their practices are run. They shouldn't feel pressure from the government to decide what to do with the vaccination schedule. They should do what's the best interest of the person in front of them, let's say it's a child, and what those parents desire. That's how the system is supposed to run. But
I want to ask you about
that explains why Angie and I were both shamed and scorned when we went to the doctors. Wow. Let's see. Just amazing news today. I think we got one more clip here. This is in a bombshell announcement. Robert F. Kennedy revealed toxic chemicals in children's food, many of which are banned elsewhere, but legal in the U.S. As part of his role, he focuses on improving child health by addressing chronic diseases linked to food additives.
This is a list of ingredients from foods: carrageenan, riboflavin, monosodium glutamate, and 20 others that I can't pronounce.
It doesn't sound good. Polysorbate 80, that stuff's really bad. Sodium cereol.
Sodium steroid laxolate. I think you're getting the picture that you can't pronounce this stuff.
Sodium gilionate, titanium dioxides, polysorbate 80, BHT, TBHQ. The Make America Healthy Again movement is the strongest movement in America because it contains moms.
And the most exciting thing today is dozens of MAHA moms that have made their way to Washington, D.C. to continue the righteous work to ensure that we have the best, the safest, and the most transparent food supply in American history, as we all work, as a MAHA mom myself, to ensure that all of our kids going forward can live a healthy, incredible life that we can provide in this country.
If you are an American company poisoning us with ingredients you don't use in other countries, we're coming for you.
An official White House video. Man, what a day it has been for the health freedom movement. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is what a revolution looks like, folks. Florida just freed every parent from medical tyranny. RFK Jr. just ripped the mask off Big Pharma's congressional puppets. We're watching the collapse of a corrupt system that forced injections on our kids while politicians collected pharma checks. They called us conspiracy theorists for questioning their authority. Now we're watching their entire house of cards fall down. The same senators who sat silent while childhood chronic disease exploded to 76% are now crying about their precious norms being violated. They took the money, they pushed the mandates, and they silenced the skeptics. And now they're exposed for the frauds they've always been. Here's the question. Should parents who refuse vaccine mandates be investigated by Child Services? Drop a yes or a no. Drop your answers in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation. And if you want to wear your medical freedom on your sleeve, check out our Next News merch shop linked in the description. We've got designs that trigger the tyrants and support real journalism. Wow, 42 minutes. That was a lot longer than I thought. It took me like 30 minutes just to get to the Florida part. My goodness. Okay, well, we're not done yet. We're just getting started here. Got some big news coming out of Chicago, D.C. Looking at your remarks. No. 8 months of membership, Craig. What's up? Nebraska reporting for duty. Oh, we do have some super chats to acknowledge. Let's see here. Main Arbor dinner fund jar for Gary and fam. $2. Thank you. Robert Kennedy. I'm not sure if it is but maybe it is. Who knows? Gary, keep up the great work. The greatest work. $4.99. And then another $4.99 from Robert Kennedy. We're almost at the scare event, my friend. Well, we'll find out what that is. Hopefully not. Okay. let's get into our next topic because this is huge. The invasion just met its match. While sanctuary city politicians scream about their precious criminal protections, President Trump just unleashed the full force of the federal law enforcement apparatus. 1,800 arrests and counting in Washington, D.C. alone, including 28 corrupt FBI agents caught in the net. Now the storm is heading to Chicago. ICE agents, backed by National Guard units, are preparing to sweep the Windy City clean. Mayor Brandon Johnson's having a meltdown. Governor Pritzker's threatening lawsuits. But here's what they don't understand. The American people voted for this. The cartels are about to learn what deportation force really means. And before we jump into today's news, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Hyperbit Technologies, trading under HYPAF on the U.S. market. As President Trump puts the spotlight on crypto and pushes forward policies to keep America ahead in the digital asset race, Hyperbit is charging ahead with next-generation crypto mining technology, expanding on their multi-million crypto treasury that already includes Bitcoin and Ethereum, and aiming to position itself to benefit from pro-innovation laws and executive orders. This is a complete diversified company that gives you one-stop exposure to the entire crypto sector without having to pick and choose individual projects. Honestly, I could talk about Hyperbit all day, but Trump's bold pro-crypto stance says it all. For everything you need to know, check out the link in the description down below, hyperbit.ca. So here is the front page of the Chicago Tribune today. Feds set for blitz. Boom. And of course, they show some minorities looking scared on the cover in order to feed into the fear. This is what the Chicago Tribune front page says. Feds set for blitz. Trump orders a massive federal surge into Chicago suburbs as city braces for immigration raids. Pritzker expects agents to assemble by the end of the week. Officers are staying at hotels in Gurnee and Waukegan. Senator Durbin demanding hearings into Trump's incursions. The governor vowing no intervention, calling it a ploy to be used against the state in court. Front page, Chicago Tribune. It's coming, baby. It's coming. 4 hours ago, the Trump administration just extended the National Guard's D.C. orders until November 30th. This is more than just a show for President Trump. Trump wants long-term results for America's capital. Here we have this, townhall.com posting, J.B. Pritzker refusing to clean up crime in Chicago. He'd rather let his constituents be shot than accept help from Orange Man Bad. Let's listen to J.B., who obviously has presidential aspirations. This is moments ago in Berwyn, Illinois.
Sent to court. If National Guard or other military troops are deployed to the city of Chicago, immediately go to court. So that's going to be our first line of defense, is getting a court to issue a TRO or other injunction against that activity. Court.
Yeah, good luck with that, fat boy. All right, let's see what we have here. Pam Bondi announcing expansion of Joint Task Force Alpha. The task force will now cover our northern border and all of our maritime borders. They write, Secretary Noem and I are expanding this to include DEA, ATF, and FBI to give us even more manpower.
We are now expanding Joint Task Force Alpha. It has 5 steps. We will now cover, the task force will now cover our northern border in Canada, of course, and all of our maritime borders. Our incredible partner again at DHS, Kristi Noem, and I are expanding this to include our DEA, ATF, and FBI agents to this task force to give us even more manpower. We will receive more resources to prosecute these cases, and key figures in cartel, human trafficking, and transnational criminals. We will strengthen our collaboration with foreign law enforcement throughout this world to protect not only their citizens, but ours, and return these criminals to American soil for prosecution. We are now expanding.
Game on. Here is what the White House actually posted this. They posted this. Turn around. More would-be illegal aliens are getting the memo. The border is closed. Keep walking the other way. My goodness. The White House is memeing. U.S. Appeals Court blocking an activist judge order to close Alligator Alcatraz. Remember we told you they were going to shut it down? Well, looks like that judge's order has been overturned. A big win for America, big loss for activist judges. Now fill it to the brim with illegals, says Nick. 11th Circuit Court also blocked the activist judge from proceeding with the case until the appeal is resolved. Let's go. Washington, D.C., do you hear this? Suing Donald Trump for protecting the city with the National Guard. Here is the official court docket. Case 125CV03005, filed September 4th, 2025, in the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. The plaintiff, the District of Columbia versus Donald Trump, the Department of Defense, Pete Hegseth, Daniel P. Driscoll, and the Department of Justice. Case number 125CV. D.C. is suing Trump now. Well, you know, it's all part of the home rule law, so good luck with your lawsuit. Okay, ICE agents are about to surge into Chicago and crack down on crime and illegals. Let's go. Fox is reporting.
Now, that city's Democratic... It's not just the National Guard. Multiple sources telling Fox News that ICE agents are set to move into Chicago for an immigration crackdown. Now, that city's Democratic leaders are expected to resist, but many locals, like our next guest, say it is a long time coming. But Sean Tunsil will join us in a moment, talk about the residents' sentiments in a moment there in Chicago. But first, to senior correspondent Mike Tobin, who's got a beat on this every day in Chicago. Mike.
And, Bill, we know that some federal staff is already at the Great Lakes Naval Base north of Chicago, and Illinois Senators Tammy Duckworth and Dick Durbin are demanding that the Secretary of the Navy provide them with some information for how that base is going to be used. And then a meeting of North Suburban leaders was told that some 300 federal agents are expected in Chicagoland. Now, the mayor of Broadview, a suburb to the west of Chicago, issued a letter stating that a building there will be used as primary processing facility for operations, which could last for 45 days. And law enforcement should be ready for protests, even destruction of property. Tom Homan, border czar under President Trump, argues that sanctuary policies pushed by Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker forced them to zero in on places like Chicago.
We're going to flood the zone. Sanctuary cities, I've said it 1,000 times, they're going to get exactly what they don't want: more agents in the communities and more worksite enforcement. Because if they won't let us arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of a county jail, so more collateral arrests are going to occur in sanctuary cities because you forced us into the community.
Chicago saw over 51,000 migrants arrive since the summer of 2022. The watchdog group Illinois Public Policy estimates the state will spend over $2.5 billion on migrants by the end of 2020.
Oh, looks like we are buffering. Oh. See if we can get that back.
Arrests are going to occur in sanctuary cities because you forced us into the community.
1 second, let me see if I can get
Chicago
that.
saw over 51,000 migrants arrive since the summer of 2022. The watchdog group Illinois Public Policy estimates the state will spend over $2.5 billion on migrants by the end of 2025. Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez, a Democrat, says Illinois leaders with sentiments for the migrant community are not sincere.
If we had addressed this by amending the Welcoming City Ordinance several months ago, we would not be in this position today, in my opinion. If we had shown a willingness to work with Donald Trump, Tom Homan, and Kristi Noem to say, look, we know you know where the high priority targets are. Let us help you when we arrest them. We'll let you know. I think we'd be in a very different spot than where we find ourselves today.
Now, September is the month when Mexican Independence Day is recognized with a series of parades through Hispanic areas. Now, the town of Waukegan has postponed their parade, but the Pilsen neighborhood to the south of where I am is continuing with their parade. However, they've got spotters in the crowd who will be equipped with cell phones, radios, even whistles to alert people of any developments. Bill?
All right. It's not just the national.
Oh, and folks, I am ready. When it goes down, we are going to go into the heart of the storm. And we're going to bring you that news when it happens. So buckle up, my friends. Buckle up. Let's keep going. We got some more news on this front. Okay. 5 hours ago, does anyone have a problem with Trump sending in the National Guard?
Left my man came in between the two of us, shoved us apart, and then hit me in the face.
That punch left Miles with several broken bones in her face, as well as a concussion. According to police, she was assaulted by 32-year-old William Livingston. A record search produced 13 mugshots of Livingston going back to 2012. A large number of those arrests for aggravated assault and battery of both women and police officers, something Miles found out after the fact.
Like, what is enough? You know, what does someone have to do where he's going to be, they're going to be held accountable?
According to online records, Livingston's history of random acts of violence against women goes back 8 years. In 2017, he was...
Crime is outrageous in Chicago. FBI Director Kash Patel posted this 9 hours ago. All federal partners are now at over 1,800 arrests under POTUS. President Trump's initiative to clean up Washington, D.C. Latest from FBI, September 3rd through the 4th, 28 arrests involving FBI personnel, 12 gun recoveries, 10 drug seizures, 80 individuals arrested by federal partners in total. Attorney General Brian Schwab, we are suing to block the unlawful deployment of the National Guard troops to D.C. Armed soldiers should not be policing American citizens on American soil. The forced military occupation of the District of Columbia violates our local autonomy and basic freedoms. It must end. Good luck, buddy. Now, a female officer quickly drawing her firearm on a male driver. Is this proper for police to prioritize their safety? Yes or no?
Can I call the supervisor here, please? What? I would like your supervisor. No,
you can talk to him afterwards.
Sir, I would like your supervisor.
Okay, we're going to talk to him afterwards.
Can you call him on your radio?
Huh?
Can you call him on your radio? He's not trying to call his supervisor on the radio. I'm a citizen too, bro. Okay, it's like, and you work for public and safety. You're doing your job. What's your cause? What's your cause of stopping me? Is what I want to know. You didn't even give me a cause. You said for your ticket. I told you I got
that's
a ticket.
probable cause to pull you over, right?
Okay.
Just because you.
Whoa. That's way. Whoa. Are you serious?
Your fingers on the back of your head.
We've got code 3 cover coming.
Whoa.
Okay. Undo your seatbelt with your right hand.
Any weapons in the vehicle?
Wow. What else have we got going on here? Elise Stefanik posting, I stand strongly with law enforcement and correctional officers who risk their lives to keep us safe. The worst governor in America, Kathy Hochul, fights for criminals and convicts over our law enforcement.
Explains. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is calling for a federal investigation into the state after prison strikes earlier this year led to a slew of layoffs. Layoffs, she says, are in violation of federal law. 7 News reporter Lexi Bruning explains.
This letter from Congresswoman Elise Stefanik requests the U.S. Department of Labor review what she calls illegal actions by New York State. Illegal actions, she says, were made when corrections officers at prisons went on strike, citing unsafe work conditions, mandatory overtime, and a staffing crisis. The strikes began in mid-February and lasted through the beginning of March. The letter alleges the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision, or DOCS, violated the Family and Medical Leave Act when it fired some employees who were on legitimate leave at the time of the strikes. Stefanik, who is likely running against Kathy Hochul for governor next year, writes, quote, by classifying DOCS employees on FMLA as AWOL, Governor Hochul and the DOCS commissioner caused families to lose access to health insurance, accrued overtime pay, sick leave, and unemployment benefits. The letter also accuses the state of having a no-call list, a list she says includes 200 people who the state has deemed ineligible for hire.
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is calling for a federal investigation into the state.
And we have this from the White House, posted just a couple hours ago. Alligator Alcatraz, make America safe again. President Trump standing in front of a bunch of alligators with ice hats. The White House writes, open for business. Secretary Christie, no, Alligator Alcatraz will stay open, and so will our promise to remove every violent, criminal, illegal alien from our country. And now, as we reported yesterday, the Louisiana lockup is open for business as well. There is a montage of video from the Louisiana Department of Prisons, which has now opened up a dedicated wing for illegals. Let's see what else we've got going on. ICE agents are about to surge. Here is San Antonio. Texas women support ICE operations.
Ransacked. We have to clean up our country because it's been ransacked. It's been taken advantage of by other countries.
It's a divide in this southwest side neighborhood of Nogalitos.
See, I'm getting what I voted for. You know, you can't break the law and expect to get away with it.
We have to.
I'm getting what I voted for. Trump silenced his critics with the highest ever approval rating as he cracks down on crime. Daily Mail reporting. Stephen Miller weighing in on the criminals in Democrat-run cities.
The reason for the nonstop bloodshed streaming through the streets of Chicago, you saw the statistics, just over Labor Day weekend, another 54 people were shot in Chicago. 58 people, almost 60 people, just in one weekend. The reason for this is because the Democrat leaders, the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, the foolish governor of the state, Pritzker, as well as the senators of the state, Democrat leadership from top to bottom, refused to put the violent street criminals in jail. If you look at the rap sheets, what you will see is arrested and released, arrested and released, arrested and released. They are never kept in jail. So you have a small percentage of the population that are serial criminal killers, gangbangers, hoodlums, and drug dealers that are left to roam free and shoot and maim and rape and mug with impunity from the age of 14 all the way through the rest of their lives. That's the reason why. Here in Washington, D.C., where I'm talking to you from right now, in just 3 weeks, President Trump has turned the most dangerous city in America to the safest metropolis in the United States of America. And how did he do it? By surging in National Guard, by surging in FBI, ATF, DEA, and ICE, and making clear that if you commit a crime in this city, and especially if you commit a violent crime, we will find you, we will lock you up, and we won't stop coming at you until the people who live in this city are safe. President Trump did that, and now he's made this city into a safe zone for everyone. The reason for the
D.C. is now a safe zone. It's here. President Trump will immediately deploy a surge of federal resources to Chicago en masse to round up illegal aliens. The DHS has already requested support, as we showed you the memo last night. Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker are furious.
It's not just the National Guard. Multiple sources tell
Holman and Christy Nome.
We played that for you guys already. Let's check in with Bill O'Reilly. Stephen Smith goes off on politicians for failing to crack down on rampant crime in Chicago.
Let me talk to America right now in saying this, okay? The lone black man on this segment is me. I don't need any of Bill O'Reilly's statistics that he just spewed to know that he's right in terms of what has been transpiring throughout in the streets of Chicago. It has been going on for years. It was going on before Obama was in office. It was going on when he was in office. It's been going on since he's been in office. I recall seeing a black couple on national television asking for military assistance. That's how bad it has been in Chicago. And one administration after another has either been incapable or unwilling to do anything about it. It is shameful, and black folks in that city have been getting killed for years, and I'm disgusted at the level of ineffectiveness or unwillingness that they've executed in getting better things done and making it better for the law-abiding citizens in Chicago. Having said that, we got to pay attention to what Trump, we got to pay attention, hold on, Bill, we got to pay attention to this. When he went into L.A., that was a bit excessive. You got a bunch of people in L.A. that were talking about stuff was going on in a 2-block radius. It could have been handled by the local PD. In Washington, D.C., that is not a state. You understand? He has the right. It's run by the federal government. He has a right. If he wants to send the National Guard, even though the National Guard isn't trained for that, and when you send in the Marines or the Army, they're trained to kill. They're not trained to police. So you got to send in the right people. I get that part. But I understand his intent when you're talking about what's transpired in Washington, D.C. Chicago may very well be unlawful, but with Pritzker, you're absolutely right. Yo, what are you going to do about it? It's one thing to say, Trump, don't send in the National Guard. It's another thing for the president to come out of his mouth, I'm here to help if they ask for it, and then for you to say no and then try to implement laws in place that would prohibit him from sending help. Wait a minute. When that happens, you can't point the finger at Bill O'Reilly. You can't point the finger at Chris Cuomo. You can't point the finger at people that are and just say, oh, it's really not politics. Who the hell are they? It's all about politics if you're a governor and you're going to take that position. So I have no problem with you at all, Bill, calling out the governor of Illinois the way that you have. Let me talk to America.
Wow, Stephen A. Smith, man, on fire. Check this out. I got this. This is the White House releasing the Chicago crime map, highlighting incidents from the last 2 weeks alone. Decline is a choice. Leaders in Democrat cities have been failing for decades. This is the graphic put out by the White House. Look at all those red dots. You can zoom in and you can see gun crimes highlighted by the guns inside the red circles. You could see like a person with a mask, a mugging perhaps. You could see the fist of a person. Maybe there was a fight or there was an assault. You can see, robbery, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, homicide. All of these crimes being highlighted by the White House. Here's a former acting ICE director talking about the nonsense and chaos at the border. It's stopped.
But because the nonsense and the chaos at the border has stopped, thousands of children are not coming to the border all by themselves, whether they're trafficked or otherwise, right? Because we know many of them become victims. But because the border is in such good shape, because the message around the world is really hard to come in across the border. If you come across the border as a single adult, you will likely get encountered. You will most likely be prosecuted and put on a path for removal. And so that keeps people out of the pipeline, including children. It doesn't allow these cartels to make money hand over fist and make victims out of these children. And so many of them have been found. And our partnership with Health and Human Services has never been stronger. They are leaning in on the law enforcement side to make sure that these kids who are coming still, who are in shelters, are being protected and not placed with traffickers, as had been done in the previous administration.
Here's some more. This was published 9 hours ago by Department of Homeland Security. It's no surprise that violent criminals flock to sanctuary cities where politicians like Governor Pritzker protect them. President Trump and Secretary Noem are restoring law and order across the nation to protect our homeland and save American lives. And they post this headline from the Washington Examiner: Chicago's murder toll exceeds Iraq war deaths. That's why they call it Chirac. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what law and order looks like in America. While D.C. politicians sue to keep their streets dangerous, real Americans are actually celebrating. 1,800 arrests, drug dealers off the streets, weapons seized, and yes, even corrupt FBI agents in handcuffs. The swamp said that Trump couldn't do it. They said the deep state was too powerful. They were wrong. Now Chicago's about to get the same treatment. ICE agents are locked and loaded. The National Guard stands ready. And all those sanctuary city protections, they're about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. The cartels thought they owned our cities. The gangs thought they were untouchable. Reality check incoming. So here's my question. Should sanctuary city mayors who obstruct ICE face federal prosecution? Drop a yes or a no. Let me know in the comments. Let's continue the conversation. And if you are ready to show where you stand, grab some American badass gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Real patriots wear their values with pride. Whew. It is coming, folks. It is coming. This just arrived today. I've got some body armor also coming as well. So, should be interesting to see what happens when those guardsmen hit the streets of Chicago. Where will they go? Well, we're going to find out. What are you guys saying in the chat? Cambodia needs peace. Yes, it does. Patricia Duff. Oh, heck yes. Trigger Liberal today. Shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Lim says, I love Trump. Please help Cambodia. He's working on it. Use Flex Seal. Gas mask? No, I don't have a gas mask. Maybe I should, though. Probably find something. All right. Let's see where we're going next. On the Raw feed on the Next News Network, we got lots of interesting stuff happening. And we're going to break it all down. Okay. All right. For years, they told us the cameras malfunctioned. The guards fell asleep. The footage was corrupted. Well, it was all lies. The missing minute from Jeffrey Epstein's prison cell just surfaced, and what it shows changes everything. Guards approaching his cell at 11:59 and 39 seconds. The exact moment the official story falls apart. But that is only the beginning. A Department of Justice insider just blew the whistle on something even darker. They're protecting half the client list while targeting the other half based on politics. The survivors are speaking out, and what they're saying will chill you to the bone. This cover-up goes deeper than anyone imagined, so don't look away. Now, let me ask you something. If you've built up $100,000 or more in investments, do you really want it all riding on the stock market? Think about it. Banks, billionaires, even entire countries are loading up on physical gold and silver. Why? Because when markets swing, real assets hold their value, and that's why I want to tell you about Noble Gold Investments. They make it simple to own investment-grade gold and silver, the same kind big players are buying. And you can actually hold it in your hand or put it safely in your retirement account. To find out more, visit nextnewsgold.com. It is the only gold company that I trust. The number down there on the screen, 877-646-5347. Give them a call and tell them Gary Franchi sent you. So this is the big story today. The New York Post, the missing minute from Jeffrey Epstein's prison cell on the night of his death, is shown in newly released video. Shall we dive a little deeper? It contradicts, this is the headline, new video showing missing minute from Jeffrey Epstein's cell on his last night contradicts the DOJ's explanation. New York Post, main headline. Newly released surveillance video from outside Jeffrey Epstein's New York prison cell the night of his suicide now shows the so-called missing minute that fueled conspiracy theories about his death, contradicting the explanation from the President Trump's Department of Justice. The surveillance clip was among the more than 33,000 pages of documents and videos tied to Epstein's probe that were released by the House Oversight Committee late Tuesday. In the Justice Department's initial dump of the Epstein files, an 11-hour recording from outside Epstein's cell block at the Metropolitan Correctional Center the night in 2019 had a missing minute just before midnight. Now, time frames, You can see here, we're going to show you the missing minute in a second. Critics were quick to suggest that the missing footage, which lasted between 11:58:59, August 9th, and midnight, August 10th, showed there was some type of political cover-up tied to his demise. At the time, Attorney General Pam Bondi dismissed concerns of wider conspiracy, insisting the last minute of footage is deleted each night by the Bureau of Prisons as the cameras reset. The newly released footage appears to show the camera date switching over at midnight, which led to 2 pieces of footage being combined. Nothing appears to have happened in the previously missing minute recorded outside of the cell block, but other people have noticed something very, very different. The conspiracy theorists were right once again. The newly recovered footage, including missing minutes from Epstein's prison security tape, shows guards approaching his cell at 11:59:39. Now watch closely. We'll play the video and put it full screen for you here so you can see for yourself. It is 23:59:16. There in the back is the guards. You can see them moving about. 59:26, 28, and at 36 seconds, there they go. You can see the movement walking towards the cell. People are asking questions. This is the missing minute. What was that guard doing in that time frame? That is the question everybody wants to know. The missing minute shows guards approaching at 11:59:39. Now, let's check in here. This is published August 16th. The Epstein footage was a lie. These guys rebuilt his cell in 3D, and here's what they hid. They rebuilt it in 3D and uncovered the top 5 lies the government told you. Wrong cell footage, 11 cameras, not one. Inmates and guards caught on tape, raw footages edited, and blind spots everywhere. Go to the video, watch, like, subscribe to his YouTube. Let's check in real quick.
The government's... We recreated Epstein's prison in 3D to show you the top 5 lies hidden in the government's footage. And you can get the raw file on Patreon to explore it yourself, and let's jump into it. Lie number 5, you're gonna get a video of the cell.
And you're gonna get the video of the cell. And you're gonna see for yourself.
Kash Patel, the FBI director, told us that this footage was of Jeffrey Epstein's cell, but it's not. Let's fly over to where Epstein's cell actually is. I've marked it with a green door. Down the hall, we actually see a camera marked in red that wasn't recording the night of Epstein's death, which brings us to our next lie. There was only one camera.
There's a video of him. No, not the actual act, but the entire MCC Bay. There was only one camera.
Deputy Director Dan Bongino of the FBI told us there was only one camera in the special housing unit, but that's not true. There were at least 2 cameras recording and 9 other cameras that were working but not recording due to a malfunction only days earlier. Now, the official report says that recordings should have been made for about half of the cameras, but in Epstein's block, only 2 out of 11 cameras were recording. Really bad luck, I guess. Now, I should say all the cameras were working before that, at a time when Epstein accused his cellmate of trying to kill him, and this was contradicted by his cellmate who said Epstein tried to commit. Epstein later got put on watch for this event, and we should have been able to get that footage, except the prison failed to save the correct file. Prosecutors claimed the footage contained on the preserved video was for the correct date and time, but captured a different tier than the one where Jeffrey Epstein was located.
There was only one camera.
So our deputy director lied when he said there was only one camera. There were actually 11. At least 2 were recording. Only 1 got released. And according to our own government's report, 5 or 6 should have been recording, but weren't. When the cameras were working properly, they didn't save the right files. Incredibly unlucky. But lie number 3, there's nothing unlucky about it, because we were told directly that the footage we were gonna get showed there was no one there but Epstein.
You're gonna see there's no one there but him. Right. There's just nobody there. So I say to people all the time, if you have a tip, let us know. But there's no DNA, there's no audio, there's no fingerprints, there's no suspects, there's no accomplices, there's no tips, there is nothing.
The footage just directly debunks this. There are several people who appear in the footage the FBI released, and actually one even appears after lockdown walking up the stairs. The government's report at first called this laundry, but independent experts agreed, according to one analysis by CBS.
At 10:38 p.m., the report says someone, probably Noel, carries a bundle of bedding or clothing up the stairs. It's a rare instance the video does catch movement on the stairs, but barely. Let's see that zoomed in and in slow motion again. Several of the video forensic experts we spoke with were skeptical about the report's conclusion and thought that the video could be showing an inmate walking up the stairs. Authorities say this was the last time anyone approached his cell block until his body was discovered the next morning. Again, while the video does not contradict that, experts who viewed the video say the limited field of view makes it impossible to definitively conclude that no one used those stairs in that time period.
Yeah, we don't know who that is. The government's not clear. And there are also several people who are housed in the same cell block as Jeffrey Epstein, which, as we've shown, isn't visible to the camera footage we were given. So that raises questions, and so do the two prison guards who were on staff that night and had a view of Epstein's cell. Both were charged with falsifying records on the night Epstein died, specifically with them lying about completing mandatory rounds to check on Jeffrey Epstein the night of his death, despite a posted warning that read mandatory rounds must be conducted every 30 minutes on Epstein as per God, but they did not do that. Instead, they appeared to fall asleep, according to the OIG report, and occasionally browse the internet, where one guard, quote, read a news article about Jeffrey Epstein. So it's just a total lie to say there was no one there but Epstein and no possible suspects. You have several inmates shown on the camera the night of his death. You have one walking up the stairs after lockdown, and you also have guards that just falsified records. But this all brings us to lie number 2, the second biggest Pinocchio, and that's where they told us we're gonna get the raw footage so we know there aren't shenanigans.
We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're gonna give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
So yeah, I don't think I need to explain why this is one of the most brazen lies. We were told we'd be given a modified and the original footage. Instead, what we got are 2 modified videos because both were edited in Premiere Pro. Now, it isn't clear exactly what was edited, but expert forensic analysts who spoke to Wired said the footage wouldn't stand up in court, had 1 minute, no wait, actually 3 minutes missing, and now there are reports that the DOJ has the full footage, but just hasn't released it.
And a government source is alleged to CBS News the FBI and other agencies are in possession of the full, unedited footage.
And that brings us to the final point, the final biggest lie of all, and that's a direct quote from the DOJ memo about what the footage even shows. And it says this, quote, anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was located from the SHU common area would have been captured by this footage. The government's entire case is built on this lie, and that's why it's the biggest, because their whole case for saying no one could have reached him is the idea that this one camera angle shows everything. But let's put Maxwell in our 3D twin and have him walk up the stairs. First, we'll put him on the left side of the staircase, and as you can see, you can barely make him out. However, if we put him on the right side of the staircase, you'll find that you can't see him at all. He's invisible from our view. So there's just obviously a blind spot here, which, by the way, the government already knew because they already admitted in a previous Epstein report, saying that this camera angle specifically was a, quote, partial view of the L tier stairway. So it's not a full view, you can't see everything, and as you can see in this excellent CBS investigation, you could actually access this stairway and Epstein's cell from a doorway invisible to the camera.
But with the primary entrance here, the pathway from the entrance to the stairs is completely out of view of the camera.
Yeah, that's right. You could access Epstein's cell. Our replication of the prison shows the same conclusion. If we have Maxwell walking from the SHU entrance to Epstein's cell, we can't see him from this camera angle, even though if we make the walls transparent, obviously we can see him, but in the raw footage, we'd have no way of knowing if somebody walked this direction. Wow. This painstaking recreation of the special housing unit can put to bed the top 5 lies from our government about Jeffrey Epstein. 1, we didn't get a video of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. We got a camera that can't see it. 2, there wasn't just one camera, there were 11. 3, the footage shows way more than just Epstein. 4, we didn't get raw footage, we got modified footage. And
oh, wow. That was amazing. Who is this guy? This is...
We recreated Epstein's prison in 3D.
Voidzilla. That is the YouTuber right there. 1.14 million subscribers. That is where you can track this guy on his channel. Well done, sir. Well done. Let's continue. We have also this from Caught on Camera. James O'Keefe at the Epstein survivor press conference. Flair USA leader caught coaching protesters. More red flags. The entire presser was BS. Interesting.
I noticed if Trump were on these files, wouldn't the Biden administration have released them?
No.
Why not?
There were reasons that they were being held back, that they didn't have access to get them released.
Well, what do you think those reasons were, just out of curiosity?
Yeah. We're done here. We're done.
We're not going to do whataboutisms. Okay, no whataboutisms.
It was sealed for a number of times.
That's lame, man. Who do you work for?
No comment. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I noticed that you were you were making a gesture to cut off the interview when I was talking to the protesters. You were coaching them.
You're a piece of shit.
Why am I?
You don't have anything to do with anything.
Carlos, don't do it.
You're just a piece of shit.
Carlos,
and we don't
no.
want to talk.
Oh, Carlos, you're coaching him right now. He's coaching him right in front of us. So why am I a piece of shit?
I got to run, Carlos. Yeah.
He's funny. You ran this way, you ran that way. You were coaching the people with the sign with your neck. Why were you doing that?
I'm not going to engage. It's okay.
I believe in transparency.
It's okay.
Do you believe in transparency?
You're okay. You're okay. I'm not going to engage.
Do you believe in transparency?
I'm not going to continue to repeat myself. I'm just going to stop if that's okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You can't tell me who you work for.
Well, it's okay.
There's nothing okay. We're pretty far from okay in this country. Okay, bye-bye.
I'm pretty far from okay.
What did I do that makes me a piece of shit?
You tried to undermine the truth, brother.
How so?
By doing fraudulent investigations and calling yourself a journalist?
Give me an example of a fraudulent investigation.
I'm not going to answer that, dude. I'm not going to get into your life, and I'm not going to make it about you, because you are a piece of shit.
Well, you just did make it about me.
No, you are asking about yourself.
So
dude, wake up. Because, again, being a douchebag is okay. It's your right. And if that's what you want to be, that's cool. And if you want to dress this way, that's fine.
What's wrong with how I'm dressed?
I mean, look at it's ridiculous.
Why are you screaming?
Because you keep fucking talking.
Why are you cursing?
Because you keep fucking talking.
I'm asking questions.
That's how real people talk. Not in fucking DC, douchebag. That's how fucking people talk. There it is.
You seem very
He's a fucking douchebag.
Okay.
And everybody, this is what a douchebag looks like. This is what a loser looks like.
James is a
he's not. He's a. Then you're a douchebag too. So
are you calling this nice young lady a douchebag? I thought you supported women.
No.
Why are you attacking? She's a survivor of sexual abuse. Oh, please? Oh, please? Oh, please. You scratch them and they become anti-woman. Do you know who this individual is?
No, but she thinks you're cool. So
she is a survivor of sexual abuse.
That's not the point. You're trying to... Dude, I don't give a shit. Dude,
what is going on here?
Go fuck yourself.
Okay, there you have it.
I'm a survivor.
That doesn't mean you can't be a douchebag. You're a fucking douchebag.
You can't. You can't scream at
douchebag.
You can't. You're screaming at women. I mean,
go fuck yourself.
He's attacking her personally. Man, what do you mean? What do you mean by karma's a bitch?
That's Corinne Clifford, who was there. Oh my goodness, that was totally wild to see that. Okay. Okay, let's check in here real quick here. One of Epstein's survivors, a Trump voter, asked the only question that matters.
You were I have to ask you about someone who wasn't supportive today, and that is Donald Trump in the Oval Office calling what was happening in your discussion the Epstein hoax. He repeatedly called it a Democratic hoax, even though you were accompanied by Republican members of the House as you were standing there. How did you feel about that when you heard that word applied to what was happening there?
So I'm going to go off of my survivor sister, Haley Robertson, and I voted for him. I voted for Trump. And for him to say what he is saying is beyond me, because I put my hope in him and he's supposed to protect us. And for him to say that this is a joke and that it's sides, this is not sides. We will say it time and time again. None of us are up there accusing him of anything. There is no one that is accusing him of any wrongdoing. So for the fact that he is saying those things and saying it's a hoax, who are you hiding for then?
Okay, so to clarify, here's why I think President Trump's calling it a hoax. I believe he's doing so because you have Democrats who are now suddenly caring about the Epstein files. So the reason that they would supposedly care about it is because they believe that he's in those files. So he's lumping the hoax in with all the Russia hoax and the impeachment hoax and all those other things because of the recent desire for Democrats to investigate what's in those files. So personally, I think it's a really poor choice of words by the president to use that, because you have moments like this where people just don't quite, a victim who clearly, is affected by those words, now going on MSNBC trying to understand it. Check this out. Here's more from James O'Keefe. DOJ deputy chief admits government will redact every Republican while leaving all the liberal Democrat people on the Epstein client list. Says Ghislaine Maxwell was moved to a lower security prison as a benefit to keep her mouth shut.
Yeah. Well, those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files. Leave all the liberal Democratic people in those files.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
Got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep her mouth shut.
That was the acting deputy chief of the Office of Enforcement Operations, Joseph Schnitt, telling a stranger about the FBI and DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. Schnitt, who works at a high level inside the Department of Justice, goes on to comment on the inconsistent statements, special treatment of Ghislaine Maxwell, and the blatant backtracking on promises of transparency.
And what do you do for work here?
I work for the Department of Justice.
Okay.
Been there like 23 years. I'm an analyst. I'll be acting deputy chief of our office for a few months starting next week. I work closely with all the federal law enforcement agencies and the U.S. attorney's offices, the prosecutors and stuff. The thing is, it's interesting because I do deal with so many of the agencies, like the Bureau of Prisons, the Marshal Service, the FBI, U.S. attorney's offices.
Recently, the FBI and DOJ have come under fire for promising transparency, then refusing to release footage and unredacted documents, going directly against the public's expectations and the promises made by Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel. In a DOJ press release, Attorney General Pam Bondi stated, quote, "This Department of Justice is following through on President Trump's commitment to transparency and lifting the veil on the disgusting actions of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators," unquote, and also claimed they were shedding light on Epstein's extensive network, only to later claim that Epstein was acting alone, and that the only video evidence they had was of Epstein's personal child porn collection.
Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that
Okay, let's keep going here. I think we got NBC is giving attention to the Epstein case. There's something that stinks to high heaven. What is going on?
Hasn't done so yet. Show of hands, who would like to see President Trump definitively rule out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell? Every single one of you.
Yeah.
Marika, are you frustrated he hasn't done so yet?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, just toying with the idea is an insult.
What would you say to the president if he could hear you right now about this, about the potential pardon, about the case, about all of this that's in the ether right now?
Would ask why he's putting so much attention on convicted criminals and why he seems to value them more than us.
Does anybody else have thoughts on that? Lisa, Jenna?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would say it's so big right now because this administration ran their campaign on this. These were promises that they had made. And if you're in that level, in that capacity, it's your diligence, it's your duty to do what your constituents, the American public is asking you for. So that's all we're asking.
And it's not just one side or the other. This is a nonpartisan issue. Everyone is asking, even his base is asking.
So if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. They thought we'd never find out. They thought their cover-up was bulletproof. Wrong. The missing footage exists. The guards were there. The cameras worked. Everything they told us was a lie. And now a survivor's question cuts through the noise. If this is all a hoax, what are you hiding for? That's not paranoia. That's someone who knows the horror firsthand. The DOJ insider admission should terrify every American. They're literally editing the client list based on political party. Republicans get exposed. Democrats get protected. This isn't just justice. It's protection racket for the powerful. Ghislaine Maxwell gets a cushy prison deal to stay quiet while the truth stays buried. So here's my question. Do you believe that Epstein Epsteined himself? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you want to wear some gear that asks the questions the mainstream media won't, visit shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We've got designs that demand truth and accountability. All right. We are rolling right along. That was our third segment. Going into our fourth segment now. It's all a joke, says Nish. Scott Edwards says no. Teresa says no. Bada Kenny says, I love my Anthony Hatton shirt. Yeppers. Bill's Rules got censored. James Face says no. No Epstein and health. Why so serious? I guess. Support us becoming a subscriber. Oh, thank you, Rumblebot. Tyson says, I'm disappointed in DOJ Cash and Bongino. This goes to the second highest tier below the very top committee. All right, let's keep going. Excuse me. Wow. I'm yawning. Oh. Sorry about that. All right, let's get to our next topic here. Let's see here. Okay. I'm just trying to get queued up here for you guys. Let's see here. All right. She sat on the Federal Reserve Board controlling your interest rates while lying on her own mortgage papers. Now the woman who voted against lowering rates for struggling Americans faces 30 years in federal prison. The Department of Justice has opened a criminal probe. A grand jury is reviewing the evidence. Even her own attorney is throwing Biden's vetting team under the bus. But here's where it gets really dirty. The Fed chair himself is staying silent, protecting a criminal while preaching integrity to the rest of us. The swamp protects its own until now. The mortgage fraud evidence is undeniable, and someone's finally doing something about it. The truth is coming out. Speaking of officials who lie about their finances while controlling ours, here's something that actually delivers on its promises. A 2025 survey found that over half of U.S. adults are concerned about how fast their skin is aging, and 40% fixate on random wrinkles and dark spots. If that sounds like you, you are not alone. This is why I use my secret anti-aging weapon, and I'm obsessed with the changes I've noticed in my own skin. It provides my skin with 5 must-have types of premium collagen needed to help reduce wrinkles. Since taking it, I've experienced smoother skin, more elasticity, fewer fine lines, and a more youthful glow. Plus, it mixes smoothly with my morning coffee with no taste or clumps. Grab Ageless Multi-Collagen now while it's 51% off only at healthwithgary.com. You'll find it linked down below. So what is going on with Lisa Cook? Yeah, bad news hitting her today. The DOJ has opened a criminal investigation into the Federal Reserve ex-governor Lisa Cook. Mortgage fraud is a 30-year felony. We've seen the proof. It's undeniability. Accountability is coming. John Strand posting this, and here's the headline. Justice Department issues subpoenas as part of probe into Fed Governor Lisa Cook. Pam Bondi in the lead here. While she repeatedly voted to not lower interest rates, this Fed governor was lying on her own mortgage documents to get lower interest rates for herself. Let that sink in. People calling for the arrest of Lisa Cook. Even Megyn Kelly now confirms from her sources that there is a grand jury investigation doing the mortgage fraud allegations against Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook.
Oh, even beyond. Sources telling the Megyn Kelly show there is now a grand jury proceeding underway in Atlanta, Georgia, looking into whether Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook committed criminal fraud by listing more than one property as a primary residence when she applied for mortgages, or mischaracterizing her mortgages in general, and that this probe may go even beyond those specific instances. We'll find out. But what this means is that the referral by Bill Pulte, the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, to the DOJ of the Miss Cook problems has satisfied DOJ prosecutors that the Cook alleged mortgage fraud is serious enough to warrant possible criminal charges against her. They're presenting it to a grand jury in Atlanta right now. Ms. Cook's got bigger problems than the loss of her job. She should really focus her efforts right now to staying out of jail and not to holding on to her cush 14-year position for which she was unqualified to begin with. Sources telling the Megyn Kelly.
And we've got Hakeem Jeffries now rushing to defend the Fed governor, Lisa Cook, after reports of the DOJ probe, blasting Trump's DOJ as weaponized and vowing we will not be intimidated.
And then I just want to follow.
Thank you, everyone.
The DOJ is launching a probe into Lisa Cook. Any reaction to that?
Listen, the Department of Justice continues to try to weaponize the federal government against people who have declined to bend the knee to Donald Trump and his extremism. We will not be intimidated by the Department of Justice. We're going to push back forcefully and aggressively and righteously.
Thank you.
Yeah. If anyone knows about weaponizing the Department of Justice, it would be the Democrats. This posting just a few hours ago, former Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook admits to mortgage fraud. Her attorney, Abby Lowell, who represented Hunter Biden, is blaming the Biden administration and Congress during the vetting process for not catching that she was engaging in mortgage fraud. You can't make this stuff up. She's blaming the Senate.
Accused of doing that. Coming in on the escalating mortgage fraud accusations and controversy embroiling Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, who President Trump fired. Cook's lawyer, Abby Lowell, in a new court filing, is trying to blame the Biden White House, trying to pin it on the Biden White House and the U.S. Senate themselves for not catching Cook's mortgage fraud allegations, claiming they did not vet her enough. After she listed 3 homes as her principal residences, she's accused of doing that to get cheaper and lower mortgage rates. Joining us now, Florida gubernatorial candidate Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, you can't make this up. Her lawyers said U.S. senators and Biden White House advisors could have asked about any of these alleged inconsistencies and contradictions when the Senate confirmed her. Are they basically admitting what she did is wrong?
Yeah, that's basically an admission trying to pass the buck on somebody else. Look, here's the deal. She defrauded a mortgage company. She said it was a primary residence. It was not. And I think it's important for people to understand the difference between a primary residence and a secondary residence is the amount of money you have to put down to buy the property. Under, current law, a primary residence, you could put down 3%, 5% towards the purchase of the home. But when it's secondary property, you got to put down at least 20%. So we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars that she did not put down when she lied on a mortgage app saying that it was another primary residence. The fact that the Biden administration didn't catch her or didn't question it just demonstrates once again how inept the Biden administration was. But that does not mean that the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, does not have cause to remove her.
I mean, critics are saying if she can't honestly fill out a simple mortgage application, she's got no business voting on whether or not interest rates should be raised or lowered. She's lost the trust of the public. She listed 3 properties in various documents as her primary residences in Michigan, Georgia, and Massachusetts to get lower rates.
Look, let's just be honest. She knows how to read an application. What she did is she pulled a fast one because she didn't want to have to put out more money to have a second and a third home. That's what she did. And so the Trump administration, which is holding everybody accountable, caught it, and then they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're holding her accountable as well. No more, no less. The reason why she's upset is because she got caught. That's why she's upset.
You know, they're going.
Oh, yeah. Somebody actually went to her house. Oh, we got more. We got more. Check this out. We got some more from Bill Plute as well. Here's the footage. Lisa Cook is renting her principal residence now. That's weird, right? Who lives in Lisa Cook's house?
To the banks that Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook has 3 homes and big troubles. She claimed to the banks that she lived at all of them, but real estate records show she listed 2 of them for rent. That's not legal. So Lisa must be living here in Ann Arbor at the 3rd house, right?
The door's dirty. There's a key lockbox right there. There's a white man at the dining room table. It's weird. I don't think she's married.
Hello?
How you doing?
Okay, how are you?
I'm good. My name's Charlie. I'm a reporter. This house is in the news. I was wondering if Lisa Cook lives here, or do you rent?
No, we're just renting, so you'll have to.
I'm sorry?
You'll have to talk to the owner.
Okay, you just live in here?
Yeah.
Okay, just renting?
No.
I'm sorry?
You'll have to talk to the owner.
Okay, the owner, would you have a contact number? Oh. We'll have to talk to the owner. They're just living here.
Oh, yeah, they just got burned. They just got burned. Oh, hey, let's go to this flashback moment. This is priceless when she called Trump a fascist.
Before, we have seen this before. And that's why my European friends told me before Trump was elected not to make fun of what was happening, to take very seriously what was happening, because they've had recent skirmishes with fascism. They know the impact of fascism, and this guy is definitely a fascist and embraces that, and will sow divisions in this country that that will take a long time to mend. We have seen this before.
Yeah, now you're facing 30 years, honey. We'll check in with the Roger Stone clip here. Here is Bill Plute filing another criminal referral.
Try to report it to people.
Why the second criminal referral since she's already been fired?
Because once we dug in more, we found more. And anytime we find more, whether it's on a criminal suspect or otherwise, we try to report it to people. So we reported it to the DOJ. She said that she had a second home, but then in her disclosures to the U.S. government, she called it an investment in rental property. Investments in rental properties are different than second homes. And back in that time frame, 2021, where she took out these 3 mortgages, you had different rates for these different types of classifications. So it's very concerning, and the DOJ will have to figure out what they do with that.
Do you think the president or the administration is going to name her replacement while this litigation is ongoing?
I have no clue. You'd have to ask the president that. My main focus is on getting rid of mortgage fraud and finding mortgage fraud no matter who commits it. If they commit it and we determine that it's within our purview to prosecute it, we will refer it over to the DOJ, and that's what I'm singularly focused on. So,
are there other government officials who are looking into
We're looking at a lot of different things. We refer criminally people every day, contrary to what people say. We refer people who are Democrats, Republicans, it doesn't matter. But we're not going to be deterred from pursuing people. But the ones that we've made public or have been made public by other people are the only ones that we're prepared to talk about right now.
Tom Dempsey with News Nation. The attorneys for Ms. Cook are saying this is all just an effort to get interest rates lowered and that there was never cause to begin with for her to be fired. What do you say in response to that?
Well, Ms. Cook is the one who filled out the applications, not me and not anybody else that I know. So she needs to account for why did she take these two mortgages out. She took out a Michigan loan, and then 2 weeks later she goes and she takes out another loan for a property in Atlanta. She declares both of them as her primary residence. Then you go back 4 months from that, she took out another loan. We're now finding on a third property, saying that it was a second home when really she declared it as an investment property. So, you know, this really has nothing to do with the Fed. It has much to do with public officials. If you're going to be in charge of the Federal Reserve, damn, you better sure know how to fill out a mortgage application. And boy, it's awfully weird that she potentially saved a lot of money by making so-called clerical errors, which were not clerical errors.
Do you know if she's still getting paid by the Fed or how that's working while you guys bring this?
I don't know, but Jerome Powell, he's got to answer for why he's not coming out and saying this is bad. He's destroying the credibility to the Fed by not saying that mortgage fraud is bad. I mean, we have great career people. We have great people at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. We have great people at the Federal Housing Agency. Why would somebody who's Jerome Powell not come out and say, you know what, if Ms. Cook did this, she should resign? So it's becoming more and more concerning by the day. And I say that because, you know, not only from a legal perspective with mortgages, but obviously the mortgage market is very dependent on the credibility of the Fed. And so it's concerning.
President Trump responding about a question. Are you weaponizing government by digging into Lisa Cook's mortgage records?
Actually, you would
government by digging into the mortgage records of officials you don't like.
No, they're public. I mean, you can find out those records. You can go check out the records yourself. And you should be doing that job, actually. You wouldn't do that because that's not the kind of reporter you are. But you should be doing that job. I shouldn't have to be doing it. If you did your job properly, we wouldn't have problems like Lisa Cook. Go ahead. You were going to say something. Go. Blue. No.
Let's find out. Here's Bill Plute on Squawk Box on CNBC. Not going to be intimidated.
The housing crash. In 2008, the Housing and Economic Recovery Act was passed and gave enormous authority to this position in which I sit. It didn't happen by accident. There was a housing crash. A big part of the reason that there was a housing crash was because people were buying mortgages and engaging in mortgage fraud. So I'm not going to be intimidated from pursuing mortgage fraud just because somebody has the special title of being a Fed governor. This is my job to ensure the safety and soundness of the mortgage market. It doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or Democrat or a Fed governor or somebody who mans a convenience store. If you commit mortgage fraud, you know, you need to be held accountable, period.
Mm-hmm. Checking in with Roger Stone. We had a discussion about this a week ago. Either the president, I do want to talk about Trump's move to fire the Fed governor, Lisa Cook. It seems to create a constitutional checkmate. Either the president has the authority to remove her or the Fed itself is unconstitutional. How do you see this playing out?
Well, it's kind of interesting. So when Bill Pulte, who's the head of the Federal Home Finance Agency, moves to enforce the law, he's accused of targeting. Yet when they make up a completely fake narrative about Russia to try to take down Donald Trump, why, that's viewed as a legitimate investigation. I think the facts here are very clear. The President of the United States has the authority to fire a federal board governor for cause. What is cause? Cause in this case is egregious mortgage fraud. In this case, Lisa Cook claimed that her home in Ann Arbor, Michigan was her principal legal residence. That means she got a state tax break, she got a lower mortgage rate, and a lower insurance rate. And then, Gary, just 2 weeks later, she claimed that her home outside of Atlanta was her principal legal residence. Once again, she got a state tax break, she got a lower mortgage rate, and she got a lower insurance rate. Now, this is what is known as mortgage fraud. Literally, thousands of people are referred by the housing officials at FHFA to the Justice Department for this crime every single year. You don't hear about it because they're not prominent. They're not well known. But the elites, like Lisa Cook, like Jerome Powell, they seem to think that they're above the law Also caught in the same net, as you know, is Adam Shifty Schiff, the single greatest hustler, huckster, con man, and fraudster in the history of the U.S. Congress. This is a guy who told us repeatedly that he had seen more than circumstantial evidence of Russian collusion with President Trump's 2016 campaign. And of course, he never produced anything of the kind because, as we now know, thanks to the courage of Tulsi Gabbard and the direction of President Donald Trump, all of the documents have been declassified, at least most of them. I think there are more bombshells to come, which prove definitively that this was a seditious conspiracy that was born in the Oval Office at the direction of Barack Obama with the assistance of Vice President Joe Biden. It involved the National Security Advisor, Susan Rice. It involved the FBI Director, James Comey. It involved one of the principal orchestrators of this charade, CIA Director John Brennan, but also culpable are Special Counsel Robert Mueller, the de facto head of the Mueller witch hunt, Andrew Weissman, probably the single most corrupt federal prosecutor in U.S. history, as well as others, including James Clapper, who was then the Director of National Intelligence. This is not conjecture. This is not investigative reporting. They are busted by their own words in their own classified documents and emails. And the most interesting thing to me, Gary, is Hillary Clinton approved the entire ruse from the beginning. Yes. It's there in black and white. One of her aides says HRC has approved. I think that stands for Hillary Rotten Clinton.
So
as a way to distract from her illegal email server.
I do want to talk about Trump's move to fire. Great interview. You can see the whole thing on the channel in the interview section. Roger Stone posting this 6 days ago. The U.S. District Judge that fired Federal Reserve Board member Lisa Cook's lawsuit was referred to Judge Gia Cobb is Cook's sorority sister in Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Cobb must be recused. And we have this Plute posting 5 hours ago. Wow, all caps. The Brookings Institution is now even calling out the Fed's cover-up and saying they have no credibility with Lisa Cook. This is the same outfit that Democrat hack Norm Eisen works for.
Today, the Fed's ethics scandals have piled up a mountain high, and the Fed has frankly lost credibility for years, sweeping ethics scandal after ethics scandal of senior official under the rug. So it's very difficult to have any confidence in the Fed's honesty and transparency about what's going on with Cook, who they won't even acknowledge whether Cook is a governor or not today, why Kugler left, and a series of other scandals. And the Fed is really kind of eating a little bit of what they've sown by trying to cover up their own dirty laundry for years.
So quickly, I just want to get your thoughts on where...
Now, let's check in with... we have this other clip. This is from James Fishback, disgraced ex-Fed governor Lisa Cook filed a brief in the U.S. District Court for D.C. arguing, among other things, that she threw at the wall that private conduct before taking office does not amount to cause.
Ex-Fed Governor Lisa Cook and her lawyers filed a brief today in U.S. federal court, the U.S. District Court for D.C., in which, among other arguments that she threw at the wall, she alleged, quote, private conduct before taking office does not amount to cause. I had trouble reading that for a sec. Private conduct before office does not amount to cause. So essentially what she's saying is that anything that happened prior to her taking office as a Fed governor in 2023 is inadmissible in determining whether she could be removed for cause. Well, that faults on two lines. The first of which is the conduct that she is accused of strikes at the heart of her key responsibilities in office, that when you're credibly accused of mortgage fraud, when you are the top banking regulator in America at the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, you can't credibly go out and stop mortgage fraud and regulate banks who oversee mortgage origination and protect a financial system that you've been credibly accused with evidence of directly undermining. That's the first point. The second is that this is not just pre-appointment conduct. This is not just private conduct that took place before she took office. This is an ongoing fraud to conspire against the banks that underwrote these mortgages. Here's how it works. When you take out a 15-year mortgage, as she did on the first property, and a 30-year mortgage, as she did on the second property, in the span of 2 weeks on 2 properties in 2 separate states, that isn't an offense that just happens in that moment that you fraudulently fill out the paperwork. That is an offense that you recommit every single month. Because by virtue of stating within the course of 2 weeks that these were both her primary residence when she went off to rent another, by virtue of doing that, she got a lower down payment, a lower monthly mortgage payment. That down payment was a one-time thing, but that monthly mortgage payment happens every single month for 15 years on the first property and 30 years on the second. She has an artificially low payment that she's submitting every single month for the next 15 and 30 years, which clearly is still within the current time frame. And she is perpetuating this fraud every single month by paying a lower, artificial, fraudulent rate than the rest of us would be. And so on 2 counts, on the count that this private conduct is so heinous that it renders her unfit for the current duty. You can't credibly go out and stop mortgage fraud when you yourself have been credibly accused of it. And the second and most important fact, just categorically, definitionally, is that this is not conduct that simply took place before she took office as a Fed governor in 23. This is conduct that continues to this day. Every time she signs off for another monthly payment for her mortgage, she does so at a lower rate, at a fraudulent rate, because back in 2021, in the summer of 21, in June for the first property, and then 2 weeks later in early July 21 for the second property, she lied. A big fat lie. A lie that, as the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia articulated in January 2023, is something called owner occupancy fraud that raises mortgage cost for all of us honest borrowers, Americans who work hard, who save up, who try to get a mortgage. We are paying a little bit more because of the fraud perpetuated by the likes of Lisa Cook. If
you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is corruption at the highest level, folks. Lisa Cook sat on the Fed board, voting to keep your interest rates high, while she lied on her own mortgage applications to get better rates for herself. That's not just hypocrisy, that's criminal fraud carrying 30 years in federal prison. The grand jury is meeting. The DOJ is circling. Even Democrat-friendly Brookings admits the Fed has zero credibility. But here's what really burns me. Jerome Powell's silence. His refusal to demand Cook step down tells you everything about the rot at the Federal Reserve. They protect their own while everyday Americans get crushed by their policies. Hakeem Jeffries running defense just proves how deep this goes. So here's my question. Should Jerome Powell be investigated for covering up Lisa Cook's crimes? Yes or no? Sound off in the comments and show your support for real accountability. Grab your Next News gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Linked below. Okay. Yep. We're going to keep tracking what's going on at the Fed. So many stories that are ongoing, not going away. No accountability for anything, says Guy. Sue says yes. Teresa says yes. James says yes. I would take it a step further. I mean, should he be investigated? He should be fired. I mean, Patricia says yes. Pada Kenny Yebbers. Now we're going to get into John Bolton. Yeah, what's going on with him? And Peter Navarro. Amazing thread posted by Peter Navarro today. We're going to get into what they found, what they were investigating with Bolton, and Peter Navarro's thread about the FBI. Really interesting stuff here. Don't go anywhere. The mustache warmonger who tried to drag us into every conflict finally got what was coming. FBI agents stormed John Bolton's home, seizing phones, computers, and files marked Trump 1 through 4. An espionage investigation is now active against the man who leaked, schemed, and betrayed the America First movement. But Bolton's not the only swamp creature feeling the heat. The same FBI agents who terrorized Trump allies are getting fired and investigated themselves. Peter Navarro, who they threw in leg irons and prison, is now watching his persecutors face justice. The tables have turned in Washington, and the hunters have become the hunted. What they found in Bolton's house will shock you. Keep on watching. Now, let me ask you something. If you've built up $100,000 or more in investments, do you really want all of it riding on the stock market? Think about it. Banks, billionaires, even entire countries loading up on physical gold and silver. Why? Because when markets swing, real assets hold their value. That's why I want to tell you about Noble Gold Investments. They make it simple to own investment-grade gold and silver, the same kind that big players are buying. And you can actually hold it in your hand or put it safely in your retirement account. I trust my friends at Noble Gold Investments. Visit them today. It's linked below, nextnewsgold.com, or call that number 877-646-5347 and tell them that Gary Franchi sent you. Now, we're learning more details about the John Bolton FBI raid. New details here. John Bolton under investigation for espionage. Events 2 years prior to his book publication. A lot of people were speculating that there were items in his book. Well, now we're learning 2 years before this. Here is the document, application for the warrant by telephone or other reliable electronic means. The basis for a search, evidence of a crime, contraband, fruits of a crime, other items illegally possessed, properly designed or used, intended for use in committing a crime. This is the warrant. So what did they take from John Bolton's house? Binders of statements and reflections to Allied strikes. Folders of typed documents labeled Trump 1 through 4. What were in those folders? Was he building a dossier on Donald Trump? 3 computers, 3 hard drives, and 2 iPhones. He's under investigation for illegally transmitting classified documents. Here you can see the handwritten notes of what was taken from his home. Doge police blotter. Trump derangement syndrome afflicted Johnny the Jackal Bolton. Here's what FBI agents took from his house in Bethesda, Maryland. Federal agents seized 3 computers, 2 iPhones, reams of documents in former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton's house during their August 22nd raid, according to court records, which revealed that the treasonous 76-year-old Trump derangement syndrome afflicted traitor could soon face charges that may land him in prison for more than a decade. They raided his home in Bethesda and D.C. and his office as part of the investigation into allegations he snuck national security files out of the White House during Trump's first term by emailing them to family members on a private server. In addition to the high-tech hardware, agents confiscated 2 USB drives, a hard drive, 4 boxes of printed daily activities, typed documents and folders labeled Trump 1 through 4, and a white binder labeled Statements and Reflections to Allied Strikes, according to inventory made public on Thursday. The warrant also revealed that Johnny the Jackal Bolton is being looked at for allegedly violating 2 sections of the Espionage Act of 1917, forbidding unauthorized possession or removal of national defense information, and another law preventing hoarding of classified files. If tried and convicted on all counts, he could face up to 25 years behind bars. The longtime diplomat has not yet been arrested or charged with the crime. Federal investigators shelved the case during cadaver Joe Biden's administration, leaving current FBI Director Kash Patel to reopen the probe upon learning of its existence about a month after taking office. Oh, so the case was actually started during Biden, but they put it on the back shelf. Kash Patel picking it up. Now, President Trump's Justice Department is questioning whether cadaver Joe Biden's FBI decision not to pursue the case against one of the most staunch Trump foreign policy critics was politically motivated. Quote, the Biden administration had probable cause to know he had taken material that was detrimental to the national security of the United States, and they made no effort to retrieve it. A senior FBI official told the New York Post after the raid. Goes on. Here is more clarity. So this is the list of items. A black iPhone in a black case. White binder. Labeled statements and reflections to Allied strikes. Typed documents in folders labeled Trump 1 through 4. 4 boxes containing printed daily actions. A hard drive. A Dell Precision Tower computer, 3620. SanDisk 64 gigabyte USB drive, SanDisk 64 USB drive, silver Dell XPS laptop with cables, and a silver Dell Inspiron 2330 computer. That's what they took. Let's see how MSNBC is spinning this.
A former Trump. New details about what the FBI seized during a search of the home and office of former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton. NBC's Tom Winter is following this for us. What can you tell us, Tom?
So, Chris, these documents were unsealed as a result of an effort by NBC News and other media news organizations asking the court, because in the District of Maryland where this search and Bolton lives, within the confines of that jurisdiction, we are able to get the search warrant returns, basically what they took. And you're looking at it right there on screen. The several cell phones, several computers, several USB drives, and then a white binder labeled Statements and Reflections to Allied Strikes, typed documents and folders labeled Trump 1 through 4. This document might be more notable for the information contained on the first page, which says that the FBI is searching for evidence that may show he illegally gathered, transmitted, or lost defense information, or engaged in unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or materials. That's what it says the reason for this search in the first place.
New details about what the FBI seized during a search of the home and office of former.
Let's keep going here. More. The treason in black and white. James O'Keefe's media group. National Security Investigative Journalist Paul Sperry confirms Trump's National Security Advisor John Bolton received a classified memo summarizing an explosive report exposing how Barack Obama fabricated the Trump-Russia intelligence, but instead of briefing the sitting president of the United States, Bolton, as a loyal, obedient traitor, locked it away in a NSC safe. This is Amjad Anton Fasisi, senior CIA intelligence officer, 10 years of service at the CIA and top secret sensitive compartmentalized information clearance, caught on hidden camera. The higher-ups in the intel community, including CIA directors Mike Pompeo and Gina Haspel, and the upper levels of their staff, colluded to withhold information from the President of the United States. A criminal investigation into Bolton was first opened during the first Trump administration over his book, but it was dropped by the Biden criminal enterprise in 2021. Investigation opened by Kash Patel at the direction of the Trump administration.
How long have you been working at the CIA?
2008.
Okay.
I also worked at NSA though. And then I had a TS-SCI with a full scope polygraph. That means that I'm fully vetted.
Amjad Fasisi shows her his CIA identification badge.
No, where does it say?
Does it?
Hey, that's the point.
That's the point.
What's CMC?
China Mission Center, darling. That's my mission center.
Gotcha.
Amjad talks about how the CIA kept information from Trump.
Like working?
We kept information from him.
Say one more time.
We kept information from him.
From Trump?
Yes. He's an idiot. And there are certain people that would give him a high-level overview but never give it any details. Do you know why? It's called leak those details.
Amjad Fasisi states the higher-ups within the intel community, including CIA directors Mike Pompeo and Gina Haspel, and the upper levels of their staffs colluded to withhold information from sitting President Trump.
So the agencies kind of like all got together and said, we're not going to tell Trump.
The higher-ups.
The higher-ups.
We put it this way, the executive staff.
We have some more here. FBI seizing phones, files, computer equipment during the Bolton raid. John Solomon confirming as well. Kash Patel's FBI officially investigating Bolton for criminally mishandling U.S. national defense information involving classified documents. The partially redacted search warrant confirms ongoing espionage investigation into John Bolton. Here is the search warrant application right there. Okay, now I want to shift gears to Peter Navarro. This thread that he posted caught my attention this morning, and I want to bring it to yours. Let's hear what he has to say about it.
2016. Hey, Peter Navarro, direct from the White House. About a month ago, I had this hot thread for you on this FBI agent, Walter Giardina. This not only was the guy who put me in leg irons at that circus arrest at Reagan. Turns out he was also involved in just about every conspiracy against Donald John Trump dating back from 2016 all the way, including the Russia hoax. Now, here's this new thread. You got to see this. It's amazing. This guy's father-in-law is Larry Potts. Who's that? Used to be the number 2 guy at the FBI way back when, and he was there overseeing things during the 2 bloodiest incidents ever in FBI history, Waco and Ruby Ridge. Wow. That was this guy, Larry Potts. So you got Potts, the Giardini. You got to see this thread. Can't miss it. Navarro from the White House out. Hey,
all right, so we've got the thread. We're going to break it down. It blew my mind, the connections that these people have. Okay, where's the thread? Peter Navarro, I'm your wake-up call. If they can come for me and Steve Bannon, they can come for Donald Trump, they can come for all of us. We must not let us stand. Lock them up. Navarro at the FBI, the rotten apple doesn't fall far from the tree, from the Daily Caller. Well, here's our own Tom McCullough with Peter Navarro at the White House. Okay, let's get to, there's what President Trump posting this on X today. Adam Schiff not pleased.
Of the federal government brought down on them. Anyone who stands up to the president, anyone who criticizes the president, anyone who says anything adverse to the president's interests gets the full weight of the federal government brought down on them.
Oh, man, President Trump. Okay, so here is the thread. One FBI, 2 bad apples, both from the same family. Recently fired Special Agent Walter Giardina, who orchestrated my wrongful arrest, and his father-in-law, former FBI Deputy Director Larry A. Potts. The chilling saga of 2 disgraced agents linked by blood who have forever stained the Bureau's reputation. The bad apple, Larry Potts, was FBI's number 2, demoted after 2 of the bloodiest failures in Bureau history, Ruby Ridge and Waco. Who could ever forget those moments? At Ruby Ridge, Potts was in the oversight chain when the FBI adopted special rules of engagement stating any armed adult male could and should be shot. It was a license to kill. Randy Weaver's 14-year-old son shot dead. Vicky Weaver shot in the head, holding her infant daughter. Potts didn't receive as much as a censure until 1995 and was still promoted that same year to deputy director by his friend FBI Director Louis Freeh. Apparently, it rolls uphill at the FBI.
I said, Dad, what happened? And he said, I've been shot. And, at this point, my mom had stepped out of the door and she was screaming, what happened, and get in the house. And we all get piled up in front of the door and I hear what is like a gunshot going off in my ear. And Mom just drops to my side. I knew what had happened to her immediately. I thought it was the end for all of us at that point.
Sarah's mother, Vicky, took a fatal shot to the head as she held the family's 10-month-old baby in her arms.
I said, Dad, what?
I interviewed Randy Weaver a long time ago. Then came Waco in 1993. A 51-day siege, armored vehicles, tear gas. It ended in a massive fire. 76 men, women, children died. Potts helped oversee that debacle. Facing backlash, Freeh demoted the same friend he had just promoted. But it wouldn't be Potts' last scandal. Pottsgate soon followed. To expense attendance at Potts' lavish retirement dinner, FBI senior managers created fake paperwork for a fake ethics conference at Quantico, GIO, to investigate FBI travel vouchers. Peter Navarro continues, falsify records as a field agent, you're fired. Do it for your boss's party, you get a wrist slap and a pension. Potts retired in 97. The rot and corruption that defined his tenure remained. So here's your can't make this up part. Potts is the father-in-law of Walter Giardina, the same FBI agent who staged my handcuffs, leg irons, and circus airport arrests in 2022. Whistleblowers, backed by documents released by Senator Chuck Grassley, have linked Giardina to the Steele dossier, Crossfire Hurricane, the Mueller probe, the Egypt Red Masari hoax, and Operation Arctic Frost. So his father-in-law oversees some of the bloodiest moments in American history against Americans. And now, this guy linked to all of these scandals that we've been constantly covering. Giardina allegedly vouched for the fabricated Hillary-funded Steele dossier, served on Mueller's special counsel witch hunt team, allegedly may have wiped his bureau-issued laptop, then staged my circus-style airport ambush for the cameras. Turns out Giardina is at the center of nearly every lawfare attempt to stop Trump. Senator Grassley once named Larry Potts a symbol of toxic FBI culture. Now he's blown the whistle on Potts' own son-in-law, Giardina. 2 decades apart, same senator, same warnings, same bureau rot, same family names. You can't make this up. This is not just about me or President Trump. It's about lawless, unaccountable FBI and the corrupt political protection racket it became. We must not let that stand. Lock them up and start with an investigation of Walter Giardina. And he goes to his Daily Caller piece I showed you the headline for. Let's see. We have, I think there's some more here. Okay, yeah, here's some more from Peter Navarro in August 8th. FBI's Walter Giardina ran my circus arrest at Reagan Airport, slapped me in a leg iron, lied to a grand jury, put me in prison, and tried to jail Trump in the Russia hoax. I got prison. He got fired. Time to investigate his weaponized ass. Posting fire, FBI's Walter Giardina circus arrest. Doge AI, Walter Giardina wasn't some martyr. He was a key operator in the FBI's politicized targeting of Trump allies. His termination for lack of impartiality confirms systemic abuse under prior leadership. Walter, American Warrior, writes, Walter Giardina is the poster child of weaponized law enforcement. This, on August 9th, FBI Director Kash Patel has fired deep state special agent Walter Giardina, who was involved in investigations targeting Trump, but nothing is happening. Here's the letter. This document, this was the FBI notice to Giardina, provides official notice that you are being dismissed from your position at the FBI and removed from service under my authority as the FBI director, effective immediately. You have exercised poor judgment, lack of impartiality in carrying out duties leading to the political weaponization of the government, pursuant to Article 2 of the United States Constitution and the laws of the United States. Your employment with the Federal Bureau of Investigation is hereby terminated. If applicable, you may have a right to file an appeal of this removal with the U.S. Merit Systems Protection Board within 30 days of the effective date of the removal action. For more information on how to file an appeal, please visit mspb.gov. Sincerely yours, Kash Patel, FBI Director. But something more needs to be done. A serious investigation into his crimes against President Trump and Peter Navarro. Just what's happening with John Bolton. It's all connected. It's all connected. These are all the deep state actors who are now finally facing justice. So if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So justice is a beautiful thing. John Bolton, the warmonger who wanted your kids dying in endless wars, now faces espionage charges. And those Trump files the FBI sees, they're evidence of his betrayal. Meanwhile, the FBI agent who slapped Peter Navarro in leg irons just got fired by Kash Patel. The same deep state operatives who weaponize our justice system are learning what accountability looks like. Bolton's connected to the whole rotten network. From the Russia hoax to the persecution of Trump allies, now he's looking at federal prison while Navarro walks free, warning us. If they can come for me and Bannon and Trump, they can come for all of us. Not anymore. The hunters have become the hunted. So here's my question. Should deep state operatives who weaponize the FBI face the same treatment they gave others? Drop a yes or no. Let's continue this conversation in the comments below. And make sure you check out shop.nextnewsnetwork.com for gear that celebrates this historic reckoning. All right. Send Bolton to Iran, says Digital Revolution. Book 'em, Dano. Yes, Patricia. I am Warpath. Mega General, yes. Everyone wants to see justice. And Cambodia wants peace. Everyone. Mary, Sabra, Roberta, everyone hammering it down. Yes, they do. So what a show, Patriots. What a day. We just witnessed history in real time across 5 explosive stories that prove the tide has finally turned in America. Florida shattered 70 years of medical tyranny, every childhood vaccine mandate gone. Parents, not politicians, now control their children's health decisions. Governor DeSantis and Surgeon General Ladapo didn't just change policy, they changed the game. And with Dr. Oz backing nationwide expansion, this freedom wave is about to sweep coast to coast. RFK Jr. turned Capitol Hill into a truth bomb testing ground. Big Pharma, they brought senators. The Big Pharma's bought senators, thought they'd destroy him with their usual tactics. Instead, he exposed their corruption for all to see. Elizabeth Warren's $855,000 in pharma money. Bernie Sanders getting called out for calling out the whole room's dirty trash. The CDC plotting sabotage from within. The swamp is drowning in its own lies. And Trump's enforcement surge is delivering exactly what we voted for. 1,800 arrests, including corrupt FBI agents, ICE, and National Guard heading into Chicago while sanctuary city politicians cry. Law-abiding citizens are finally cheering, because someone is putting citizens before criminals. The Epstein cover-up is unraveling thread by thread. That missing 1 minute of footage found. Guards approaching a cell at the crucial moment. DOJ admitting that they'll protect Democrats on the client list while exposing Republicans. Survivor asking the question that matters. What are you hiding? The truth that they killed to hide is clawing its way into the light. Lisa Cook's Federal Reserve fraud exposing what we always knew. The elites play by different rules. She lied for better mortgage rates while voting to keep yours high. Now she faces 30 years. While Hakeem Jeffries runs cover and Jerome Powell stays silent. The corruption goes all the way to the top. And John Bolton, the warmonger who wanted endless wars, just got raided by the FBI. Espionage charges, Trump files C's, connected to the same deep state network that persecuted Peter Navarro. The hunters have become the hunted. So thank you everyone who sent in Super Chats and Rumble Rants today. Your support keeps independent journalism alive. Special shout out to our YouTube members who make this show possible every day. And of course, our moderators in the chat room. You guys are the backbone of the truth movement. So tell a friend about the Raw feed, text them a link, share it on social. The algorithm cannot stop word of mouth. If you want to wear your values with pride, hit up shop.nextnewsnetwork.com for gear that triggers tyranny and supports real news. This is Gary Franchi reminding you, we're not just reporting the news, we're making history. The establishment thought they'd broken us. Instead, we're breaking them. We'll see you next time on the Raw feed. Keep fighting, Patriots. Freedom is winning.